Hey, speaking of
Mm.
I just noticed that we are actually like not just in the intro screen. We're like actually like live.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's
Oh,
what happens when you broadcast this stuff.
Yeah.
no, I mean it doesn't have the coming soon screen or it's
Yeah.
things starting
Eh,
soon. It
The
has my
yelling incoming, yeah, I saw that.
I
it
That
saw
was
has my
that
there.
and
face.
I actually
I
said I was going live.
I opened up our stream and expected to see that, and then I saw a gorgeous
Ah,
bearded man looking straight back at me. Three of them, in fact.
And
so
then there
And
you
I
were
was
was like,
just
Kevin and Skippy.
late to the
mm-hmm.
game.
As always. The fucking Metamucil. Anyway, we're gonna after a very successful time regulated podcast last night. Well, that was like 2 weeks ago. What happened in 2 weeks? Why were we gone for 2 weeks? Um,
Uh,
I had a sick child. Oh, and then you guys,
Circumstance.
right? And then you guys were off in the woods, um, becoming men,
mhm.
just eating what you kill, surviving on nothing but your own.
Yes, that's
Stick
exactly
your
what we
hand in
were
a
doing.
Right?
stick your
Yeah, you
hand in
weren't
a
glamping.
termite mine. Termite hill. There you go.
What?
Actually,
Oh, that sounds like there's a
what?
story there. But
Wait,
before,
what?
hold on. He's talking about something in termites, but I was going to say before we start that, I'd like to thank my sponsor, beer. Here we go, beer. I got good old Guinness, so
Nice.
that's what I'm. Yeah, it's just reliable. Also,
It's
I
good
ca-
stuff.
I don't seem to be able to run out of it. I thought I bought a 12 pack a year ago, 12 bottles. I just looked. There's like 7 bottles in there, and I've been drinking it regularly. Either
Huh.
maybe my wife's been replacing them. Maybe because she like loves me for some reason.
Oh, wow. Must
Maybe
be
she's
nice.
maybe she's putting beer in there. Huh,
I wonder
interesting.
if she's also putting poison in the beer because, I
Mm,
mean, if she wanted to get rid of you, that would be a way to do it, I guess.
yeah, I don't. I mean, my life insurance policy isn't that big. It almost seems
Yeah.
like not worth the trouble to get caught for murder.
Oh, sure.
You know what I
I
mean?
get
Like,
it.
yeah, like when that car hit me, it didn't really look. It kind of looked like an accident, but obviously that didn't do it. I mean, and if it happens again, then the police get suspicious. Like, what are the chances of this guy almost dying twice? You know,
Honestly, like
especially,
I should have hired someone, I should have paid the extra $50 and hired someone good, but
you mean she should have, Jerry? She should have, right? Is what you're
well,
trying to say?
I mean, we were working together for it, like
Dude, you'd be terrible in court. Like, just be like day one,
Huh.
did you do it? Oh yeah, I did the shit out of it. Like, yeah, that was all me right here. You can all go home. Right, this guy.
Hmm.
You were number 12. I can see you have a little doubt on your face. No, it was me. It was me. It was I did. I stabbed him. I didn't jerk him off. Eh. Anyway, Jerry, what are you partaking in?
um, I don't want to say because I feel like I'm never going to hear the end of it from you. But okay, so
What are you talking about?
there's a reason for this. Um, the other day, I don't remember what I was doing, but I had an iced tea, and I was like, "Oh, that was really tasty." Um, it's been a while since I've had iced tea, and I should have more of it. And then total coincidence, the next day, I was walking through the supermarket, and
This
I saw what?
Oh, this doesn't have something to do with Sprite, does it?
No.
Okay, never mind. That's my own story for later. Go ahead. I thought we
Okay.
saw this. I thought we came to a similar conclusion, which would have been insane. But go ahead.
No, no.
All right, go ahead.
So I saw like a 12 pack of it's a Dunkin', I guess Dunkin' Donuts spiked iced tea, but like it all looked tasty. I was like, oh,
Wait,
it's
hold on. Dunkin' Donuts is not a flavor. How do you spice something with Dunkin' Donuts?
spiked. It's Dunkin' is the brand,
Oh,
so I
I get
guess
it.
it's
I get it.
Dunkin'
Okay,
Donuts brand.
gotcha.
They
Okay,
have spiked iced tea. It's only like 5% alcohol, but it's it just makes it better iced tea,
okay.
5% better. So right now I'm having strawberry dragon fruit iced tea with a little bit of peach tincture in it.
That sounds amazing. Why would you think I would give you shit for that? That sounds incredible.
Oh, okay. I don't know, because it was like spiked iced tea, and you'd be like, "You're a douche" or something. I don't know.
No, you're still a douche, but
Sure.
the tea sounds
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
So yeah, and
Okay.
it's like a 12 pack with like 4 different flavors. There's like half and half. There's the with this one, which is strawberry dragon fruit. There's like a pineapple mango one, and something just sweet tea. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
yeah,
Cool.
it's good. And
Cool.
the peach stuff just adds to it, like peach iced tea. It's good.
Okay. All right, Kevin, what you got? Oh, there I see a bottle.
Water
That
and
must be
Water.
coffee.
cool.
So
Yeah.
exciting.
All right. Okay. All right. We can't get sponsorships out of that. Who's going to sponsor you? Water?
Depends on the water.
Coffee?
I just got
It's not.
spiked water over the weekend.
We better not be Dasani. I will fucking not have Dasani in my house or on this podcast. You hear
No,
that,
it's not
Dasani? Fuck you.
Dasani.
I don't want your money. Oh,
Until they go, "Oh, we were going to give you money." Then you'd be like, "Oh, you're my friend."
oh yeah. Then I love Dasani. Yeah, that's fine. Speaking of which, did you hear the what was going on with the oh god, the Burning Man people who
Oh
were s-
yeah,
They
they
got
got like
who stuck there for like the last 3 days
yeah,
in
it was
mud?
like Woodstock, what, 92 on
yeah,
them, all
yep,
muddy.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We've been there, done that. Like I'm not impressed.
98, whatever that
yeah.
Woodstock was.
Yeah, I just think it's fine. It was like people were like talking about like some kind of national emergency. I'm like, no, it's a bunch of like
No, it's yeah.
it's a bunch of wealthy hippies who are panicking because they're running out of LSD in the desert. They'll be fine.
99,
They'll be okay. Yeah,
94.
I'm sure all the rich people got airlifted out just fine because it's totally like a festival for everybody, for the common man, where tickets cost like $5,000, and most of the people there are from Silicon Valley and arrive in their personal choppers. But I'm not bitter. Uh, anyway, moving right along. Jerry, you wanted to serenade us with an anniversary tale of you having an EV
Oh
for.
yeah.
Wait, has it really been a year?
It's been almost what, over almost 14 months.
14 months. Cool. And
Yeah.
the way you drive, you have
Yeah.
at least 18 miles on it. So yeah, let's hear your story.
Yeah, it's funny because uh quick semi tangent. We went camping last weekend and we got rained on,
Oh,
and
like
our
in
tent
Burning Man.
leaked. Yes, exactly. Our tent leaked. So today we found ourselves at an RV place looking at campers. But the salesman there was talking about he was getting down information, and he's like, "Oh, what's your towing capacity?" And I was like, like, "What car do you have? What's your towing capacity?" And I was like, "Oh, I have the EV6, and it's like 2,300 pounds." And he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Where's your car?" And I said, "It's over there." And he's like, "Oh, that's nice." And he's like, "My wife wants an EV." He's like, "How do you like it?" So I said, I fucking love it. It's the best car I've ever had. I mean, like we started chatting about it. And he was like, "How was it on road trips and everything?" I'm like, "I've never had an issue on a road trip or anything." You think of horror stories about being stranded on the side of the road with like no access, or running out of juice. But I'm like, no issues. And he's like, "But it takes a while to charge, right?" And I said, "No, because I have one of the Kia Hyundai Genesis ones with the 800-volt architecture, so it charges quick. Like I'll pull up at a charger, and unless it's a total fucked up piece of shit charger, like I go run to the bathroom, I like grab a bite to eat, and by the time I'm out, like it's done. I'm ready to go on to the next stop." So we were just chatting about it for a while, and I'm like, who's trying to sell who on something here? Because I'm trying to sell him on EVs, and he's trying to sell me a camper. But yeah,
There's
I mean,
no, they're
I
establishing a commonality with you. They're like,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
man, you should buy from me. I also like whatever the hell that car that you have is."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably you're probably right.
Did I mention you're really good looking and
Yeah,
probably have a gigantic penis? So,
it's true. Yeah, I know. But
and meanwhile, Jerry's like, "Oh, he likes me 'cause I bought a good car."
yeah.
Anyway,
So
go ahead.
no, but I mean, I know you've said this before, but and then you kind of reneged on it, but after like I don't think I'd ever go back to a gas vehicle. It's
Oh,
just it's so much better.
I had no choice.
Oh, uh-huh.
I didn't
That's
want to
what
go.
they all say.
And by the
Mhm.
way, hold on, hang on. Just for anybody who's wondering, I didn't go back to a gas
No,
vehicle.
that's true. It was your
We got
wife's
a
car.
we got a second car. And also, if you want to get technical, I also put solar panels on my house, which power my EV.
Yeah.
You use the grid to power your car, which actually means you just used a very inefficient version of fossil fuels still.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Fuck you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. Science, motherfucker. Anyway, go ahead.
But no, I am 100% absolutely happy with my EV.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't
in the next year or two, whenever there's more available, I'm dumping the little SUV that we bought and buying another EV. I'm just waiting for a few more
yeah.
models to come out. It's a holdover for a year or two.
Ooh, the what is it? The EV9? That looks nice. That looks
No,
like
that
a big
no, that
truckster.
thing's no, that thing's huge. That thing's huge, and more importantly, is very expensive. No, it might be one of the it might be the EV 5, maybe depending on what it costs. But there's also so many new ones coming out in a couple of years
Oh,
that
sure. Yeah.
there's going to be a bunch of more affordable options. So, but
And
yeah,
now
anyway.
that Nax is taking the world by storm, you know, you're gonna
Who?
have to the what is it? The Nax, the North
Oh, next,
American.
the charging thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have at least one car that uses a modern
Yeah.
charging stand. I will no longer have to charge my car via uh, USB A. What the fuck? Yeah, it'll be great. But
It's the
anyway,
trickle
so
charge, 1 year charge,
yeah, basically.
and then
Yeah,
you
So
can go
really.
80 miles.
so actually, oh man, I wish you told me about the RV thing because now I have like 1,000 more questions as somebody who's interested in them as well. But let's save that for a future time. Did you buy an RV?
No, no, no. And it's not really an RV that we're looking for. It's basically just a glorified camper. I think what we are going to get is the oh fuck. What was it? Hold on one second. I actually think I have it down. Oh, it's the Coachman Clipper 9.0.
This would be a great
And
time
it's
to screen share, of course, but we haven't figured that
yeah,
part out
yeah.
yet.
So
We could.
it's like
Our producer Kevin has let us down today with
Which
yeah.
one?
image sharing. Kevin, that's you.
Yeah.
That's you're the Kevin.
What Clipper?
Oh, the Coachman Clipper 9.0. So it's like it's semi teardroppy, but like the back of it is it just pops open and it like goes high, so you could stand inside and you have like a 6 foot ceiling or something like that. Um, it's pretty minimalist, but it's got stuff like
Oh, well, that is
maybe
an
a
R.
sink
I mean,
and
that is an RV. It's just a smaller one, but yeah, those are cool. It's just a teardrop RV
yeah,
that has an
yeah.
extendable roof. Okay, those are cool. All right.
It's pretty neat. I see a screen share thing up there. Oh, nice. Yeah. So, do you have a picture, like a real picture from outside? There should be more on that page.
Okay, this makes for great audio content, by the way.
Well,
There
I
you go.
mean, that just steers. Right now, we are looking at pictures of the camper.
I will now mime the art. Wait, no, if I mime it, it's all visual. Damn it, never mind.
Yeah, but
I am I
it's
am bad
nice
at this.
for
Okay.
yes, yes for
All right.
our
So,
podcast listeners. Check out our Twitch stream. You could find this podcast on YouTube.
And Coachman, if you're listening, we do have available commercial space.
Yes, we do.
Jesus.
So if you send me a
Uh,
camper, then I will review it on the live podcast.
The Coachman,
Christ.
it's even better for fucking than a Toyota Highlander.
Oh my God.
What? All right, never mind.
That's a great motto.
It's called a throwback, people. If you know what I'm talking about, maybe you should have been listening all along. All right, it's your fault that you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, okay, so when I asked you to tell me about the EV, was that whole story just for you to tell me that some random guy told you that he liked your car? Because that could have been a quicker story. I was hoping you'd be like, and then I
Wow.
bought an RV, and then you could tell me you bought an RV.
I was just trying to, bring you along for the story instead of giving you bullet points. But wow, I guess you don't appreciate that.
I don't. I really don't. I'm a big bullet point kind of guy.
Make sure you tag it. You big
Oh
bullet.
yeah. Thank you.
Bullet points. Hashtag bullet points. All right, no, that's really cool. Yeah, let me know if you get it, because yeah, we're in a very early stage of looking at RVs as well, but we're at the problem where we have to wait till we get our second car so that we know not a second car, till we replace our second car.
So you know what you can.
So we know what we can tow, and then we want something a little bigger. We want something we can spend like a few days in, possibly near a lake of some kind. But anyway,
Yeah, that
yeah,
would be nice.
yeah. But anyway, so you did not buy the RV, but that's what you're looking at.
No.
How else is your annual EV report coming along?
It's great. I mean,
Well, we need
I
pros,
couldn't give you
we need
details.
pros and cons, though. It can't be all good, can it?
Cons.
Cons.
Yeah, I guess it still is
I saw you rolling your
quicker.
eyes, Kevin.
That was a chuckle.
Yeah, go ahead.
It still is a little bit quicker to just grab gas, but I don't. I mean, cons, the price, it was expensive, but I find it to be a relatively high end car. It seems cons the connector that I now have, it seems to be obsolete already. So
Well, you
that
have
kind of sucks.
the
The
CSS, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
CCS, I mean. Well, I mean, you'll get an adapter for it,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's just like, right now it's still relatively early, I think, in the whole life cycle of these. I'm not and I wouldn't
Mhm.
say I'm an early adopter, but I'm still, in that
Yeah.
first 10% probably.
Well, you should probably at some point say what car you have. So you have
Oh,
actually
I'm sorry. Yes, it's a Kia EV6. I thought I said it earlier
which
in the
trim?
prologue story.
What's the trim?
It is the GT line, so it's the dual motor. It's surprisingly fast. It's just it's a quick car. My wife, who is a very aggressive driver, yells at me for being too heavy on the pedal and quick on it, because I think it does 0 to 60 in like 4.5 seconds or whatnot.
Yeah. It's
The
it's funny because
they
we have a Leaf, which is obviously way slower than an EV6. But now that our second car is a Kia Sportage, and my wife has been relegated to driving that, every time she gets in it, she's like, "Oh, it's so slow." She's like, I like when I just tap the pedal and I'm at the next intersection already.
yeah.
She's like, "This thing, like, it's slow." Like, yeah. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So I think
It's
that so obviously that thing is a complete like night and day.
yeah, and if you can imagine the now they have one trim higher than what I have, and it's just the GT, and it's like ridiculous. It has like a button for drift mode, and the 0 to 60 is like 3 seconds or
Who's
something like
drifting?
that. Yeah, that you spend like you press that button and it just deducts $2,000 from your bank account for new
That's
tires, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny because well, I was watching some review on it, and they're like, this is a family, station wagon for $70,000, and it could beat like $250,000 Lambo off the line. Yeah,
that is
I
nuts.
could
That's
just
actually, I mean, that's the thing that actually kind of this kind of scares me about these things. The fact that pretty much everyone is going to wind up owning these things that are way heavier and accelerate really fast and are silent.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I
and
mean,
then,
they're quiet. They're not necessarily silent.
well,
They have the
with my years, I'm sorry, with my age and my ears, they're pretty much silent. Like I've had EVs like sneak up on me at this point where I stupidly like start crossing the street, like if I'm walking out of a store or something like that,
mhm.
and just the last second I hear that like woo, or like that wheezing sound that the EVs make, and I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, they at least
Do you
put
usually
back
walk
the
across the road relying
VESS
on
stuff.
sound only?
No, just when I'm being an idiot. Yeah, I have to train myself better. People, however, are still very bad with that. Like I have noticed that, like even when I'm like in my Leaf, when I'm driving again, like near a store relatively slow for safety reasons,
Right.
somebody will walk out right in front of me and then like be startled when they see me,
Mhm.
and
Do
they
you have VESS on that?
the who?
The VESS, the virtual engine sound system?
No,
That's
Leafs. Even though I have a second gen Leaf, it's not the second gen Leaf. It's like the 1.5 gen Leaf. It doesn't have that. It just has that normal noise that they make. Like it sounds
uh
like what do you call it? Like a golf cart kind of thing, where it just
right.
sort of spools up the noise. Like it makes that like kind of like
Electric motor noise.
Mhm.
yeah, electric motor, right? So you can kind of hear it. There's also it also makes the same. All electric cars kind of do it, but the Leaf is really loud with it. It makes like that clicking noise when it goes from stop to go, which I'm sure you've heard like in golf carts. Like it's just this loud like click when it actually starts moving and when it stops.
Rapid clicks or just one click?
No, just one. No, just
Oh.
one. You can
Hmm.
again just if you've ever been in a golf cart, you can feel it like clicks on and off. It's a weird thing. It's an older generation of EV, so those are the things I think like the smoothness of it. It only does it once, so like if I'm starting from a full stop, it'll click when I start moving, and then when I come to a stop, it'll click again.
Hmm.
I don't think I ever noticed that on my car.
Your car probably does it. I think it's one of the things they probably refined over time with these things. But yeah, how about things like have you kept track of expenses, like as far as like what you'd be spending in gas versus electricity? Since do you
I
still charge?
never
Do you charge at home at all or not?
Yeah, I pretty much charge exclusively at home unless I go
Oh,
on
okay.
a road trip, and then the road trips that I've gone on, um, it's all been paid for, covered under the 1,000 kilowatt hours that I got when I bought the car.
Oh, nice.
Um,
I didn't know they gave you that. That's cool.
yeah. I for this I got 1,000 kilowatts to use over 3 years, and I'm pretty much like a third of the way through it. So
Oh,
it's
that's cool.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So, and I don't. The electricity is included in the rent here, so I don't necessarily know exactly how much that would have been, but
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, if you're not paying for electricity, fuck yeah, EV's the way to
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it fluctuates, but I think like it comes out to like 11 cents a kilowatt hour or something like that. So roughly, that's tops. It's been like $20 a month or something. If so,
No, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same,
it's
a similar boat we're in. Like we have panels, but obviously we
yeah,
had to pay for the panels. But yeah, right now, like we've paid nothing for nothing for extra for gas, obviously, since I bought the
right.
car back in what 2019. So we're about 3-4 years later. However much money I've saved on gas on that car has been insane. Has been
Yeah.
like 100%. I did charge once or twice at charging stations when we went on like trips, but
Mhm.
it's only been a couple of times. I figure maybe I've spent a total of like $20 on that. So
It's so nice not having to worry about any of that. Like you go out in the morning and your car is effectively full of gas. You don't have to worry about like
yes,
stopping
however,
any.
I have had a couple of instances where I forgot to plug it in, and
uh,
you go out to your garage, and your car has not enough power to make it to work, and you're like, "Well,
Oh shit.
shit, I got to sit here for I can't go anywhere." Like, because when you're charging at home, obviously the charging is is way slower. Um, yeah, I mean, I could stop at a fast charger on the way to work, I guess theoretically, but um, t- t- I don't want to. So
Sure.
technically, I'm just like, okay, I guess either I'm going to be 4 hours late to work or it's a work from home day.
So, have you heard of like one of the things Tesla was doing with or was thinking of doing with some of their cars? I think it's the Model 3,
No.
um where they were coming out with a cheaper version of it, like something that's like $10,000 cheaper,
Okay.
but at like a reduced range and maybe like stuff like reduced top speed or whatnot. But it's all software based. So, like, let's say we're just going to pull random numbers; they're not accurate. But let's say like the normal Model 3 has a 100 kilowatt hour battery, and because of this, you bought the version that's $10,000 cheaper. It's you get 70 kilowatts. So basically, Tesla is doing with their cars what like chip manufacturers do with their CPUs. They test the CPU and they just make stuff that's like 3200 gigahertz or whatnot, and or mega, whatever. And this one performs well at 28, so we sell that cheaper for 28 or something like that, but it's all basically the same thing. um
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about them making the same hardware but limiting it via software?
yes. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. They've been doing that since day one. This isn't
Oh,
anything new.
okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Most of the
like,
model, it's a way to save on manufacturing costs because you don't have to make different
right,
sizes and different versions of something. You limit,
exactly.
and technically, somebody can go and say, "I'd like to pay extra to now make my car do that," and they can just be like, "Click."
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is I don't think is a bad thing. Plus,
No, not
if
really.
you
What's the difference?
right,
They
if
also it
you
also allowed them to flip on, for example, when there was a disaster. I think I forget where it was, whether it was in Florida or wherever. They gave all the Tesla owners basically like extended range via quick software update, so they could
mhm,
escape a storm. So they're like, congratulations! Instead of like 200 miles, your car now has 350 miles of range for the next few
right,
months, so you can safely get the hell out of Florida.
yeah, and
Yeah,
don't ever go back. Do
yeah,
yourself a favor.
but if you
Yeah.
go back, the car explodes
Yeah,
with you and your
but
family in it.
it's also interesting because if you think about it, if you had one of these software limited cars, you could effectively like charge your car up to 100% in air quotes all the time without any impact to the battery, because your 100% is only 70 kilowatts. So it's funny because
That's interesting. I didn't
you,
think about that, but yeah, you're right.
you,
I guess.
so I'm
You sure
spending
they don't save on the
$10,000
battery?
less.
It's interesting.
No, it's the same battery pack.
Same
Wow.
thing.
But and you'll see that in most cars. It'll say like, 80 kilowatt hour battery, 77% usable. So like it will never go beneath that 3% for emergency, whatever, I guess. But
Which also explains why, for example, they'll say like after 10 years, a Tesla battery is still like putting out the same range because sure the battery has dropped some capacity, but you haven't gotten it all the way down to the usable range yet. So your
Right.
car is still technically running at 100% even after
Right.
10 years.
Which is interesting because you're not degrading the battery. And if I supposedly saved $10,000 to effectively get a car that I charge up to 70% versus an extra $10,000, where the difference would only be that 10%, the difference between the cheaper car
Wouldn't
at
it be 30%
100%. No,
battery?
because like if you want to generally only charge your car up to 80%, the delta would be 100% from the cheaper car that's software limited versus 80% of what's not software limited.
If my eyes are glazing over, it's because you're talking math.
Okay, don't
And
worry.
and I'm
You,
just like,
you
Don't
even
worry
got
about
my eyes a little glazed
yeah,
over.
you're not only you're talking about math, but you're talking about
It's
like
the same
electricity.
battery always.
I don't understand.
So you gain access to 30% extra battery. Now,
Right,
I know
but
on a regular basis, you're just going to charge what, to 80 or 70?
right, yes.
But, you
So
pay 10,000 to get access to the 30%.
right, but I'm saying if most of the time I'm not using it, if 90% of the time I'm not using that
Your
30%.
analogy is cheating because you're saying you already know that on your 70,000 kilowatt hour battery, it's secretly 100,000. So I'm just going to fill it to a maximum always instead of the normal 70%. But then I'm going to compare it to a higher battery that I'm just charging to 70% because that's the best practice.
No,
Right, because
right.
they
So his
said that
battery
it was
won't
software
degrade.
limited, so I would
Right.
know that.
So he's not physically damaging the battery theoretically. Like
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. When you get the lower one, just
Right.
write it up to 100%.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, after God knows how many years, your car will still be getting pretty much the same range
That's what I
because
mean. Yeah, that's all I meant. The cheat was, yeah.
yeah. It's also how they get away with giving you slightly less. Like I think they said something like when you start getting lower to your mile, when you're getting towards the end of your battery, the car will always leave like something like an extra 15 miles over the range just in case, because they know that they don't want people like running out of juice in the middle of the
Total
road.
stranded. You know what
Yeah.
else? It saves them, software limiting it saves them on like warranties that say, 3 years you'll still have, 80%. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'll have
exactly.
80% of you'll have above 80% of your 70% of maximum whatever, like the crazy math on that one.
Yeah, it's actually kind of it's
Which
now
is
that you say
just what
that,
I was saying, that you were like making fun of me.
which yeah,
No,
now that you guys are
I,
talking about
I
it,
get the whole reason for it.
I'm
And
surprised they don't all do it then, because that would be
Yeah,
great. Yeah. Huh.
it's true.
That is pretty interesting. The downside to the whole software thing is like you have the shit where they can take away. You guys heard like a couple of people bought used Teslas that have like what is it, FSD, full self driving or something
Yeah.
like that,
Mhm.
which is like something like a $12,000 option, which was advertised when they bought the used car. But apparently, since it's a subscription, it stays with the user, with the
Oh, that's
person.
interesting.
So people bought like a car thinking it comes with like full self-driving, and then it once they activated the link into their to their new account, it automatically turns off. And Tesla's like, "Yeah, sorry, should have read the fine print. You get nothing." And they've been complaining to like dealers, and dealers have been complaining to like Tesla, and Tesla's like, "I no, sorry, we're too busy ruining Twitter. We can't help you right now." And all
learn the
this. Like,
product.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
they
fucked up.
it is fucked up, but they've outright refused. Well, they've also said like, well, that's not our fault. That's the dealer misrepresenting the vehicle. Like we have made it very clear that the those kind of additional features that you pay for do not travel with a car; they stay with the owner.
Mhm.
So technically, it's the dealer's fault, I guess.
I read the
But
articles where people learn how to jailbreak the Teslas, obviously breaking warranty, but
it breaks the warranty. You also have to actually you have to be careful. They could technically disable your car. There's some weird thing language also in this, which is also a little scary. Is there's some things which you actually just cannot do with a Tesla. Like your car will stop working, and if you bring it back to like a shop, they'll be like, sorry, like you disabled something or you removed something we told you specifically not to do. So your car is just bricked at this point. So I mean they might give them the option to restore it, but that obviously costs a lot of money. Hey Jerry, by the way, on a somewhat related note, your avatar today looks like it's having a massive stroke throughout the entire podcast.
Oh, really?
he's reading
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, your one of your
He's
eyes, you're
reading.
always like
Oh yeah, my contact is a little messed up. I could take it out. I'm
Oh,
not
so you are
using
having
it.
a massive stroke over there. It's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
that
he
little
looks
bit.
squints. He squints his one eye to read like with the other one eye.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay. All
I,
right.
I
So
only wear one contact, so I use the one eye to see distance, and I use my other eye to see close up.
I apologize. I'm making jokes over here while you're smelling burnt toast over there. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Anyway, so anything else? Anything? Yeah. Anything else to round off this conversation about how happy you are with your EV?
I don't
How
think
about
so.
this? Is there anything? How about this? If there was besides the price, is there anything you would, if you could change anything about that car?
Oh
Is there
yeah,
anything you'd
but
like?
it's like stupid little shit. Like I'd
Well,
like to what?
Well, that's good. I mean, most people would be like, well, like people have found legitimate problems with with their vehicles, EVs or not,
Yeah,
that they would be like, well, I wish, like for example, there was a video by a YouTuber he was talking about his Rivian R truck, and he was talking about that they sort of came up with this cool way to do a tailgate. It's really kind of hard to explain, but the tailgate sort of opens up in a certain way that a regular truck wouldn't, making it a lot easier to to slide things in and out of um, the bed of the truck.
sure.
But what he found is that to make it easier, they had to make these like big sort of holes at the very end of the bed. And what happens is they thought about, oh, well, people will be sliding in, big solid objects. Well, this guy was using it to transport things like mud and manure and all this other shit.
Ooh.
And it all fell immediately like into those holes. So underneath the bed of his truck is literally like a layer of like mud
Oh
and manure
God.
and everything else. And he actually took the camera in there and you can see there's like plants growing down there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
Wow,
he's like, it's not a deal breaker because it's a work truck, but yeah, it smells like shit now all the time.
Wow.
And there's literally like things growing, which could cause long-term damage,
sure could.
possibly. We'll see.
Yeah.
But he still like raved about it and said it's amazing. And but that's like a major problem. So things like that. So if you came out and said like it's great, but like you know, I don't know, let's say the way like the trunk opens up, if it opened up a little bigger, it would give me more access to everything else. If the seats folded down flatter, it'd be better. If
I
anything else
mean,
about the way the car functions like could improve that,
little things like it'd be nice if I could just store the key on my phone, so I don't actually need the key and stuff like. Why do I need to turn in the car on and off? It knows if the key's in there, so it should just be like, okay, the key's here, I'm on, and the key's not here and I'm off, and
That's
stuff like
probably
that.
that's probably a like um
that's a
a
safety thing. Can you
law
imagine
thing.
if
Yeah, that's a
yeah, can you imagine
regulation thing.
if you got in the car and you accidentally like reached back into the back seat and stepped on the gas, like your car, thinking the car is off,
It
like you just
also
take off and
needs
I think
um
no, but I think Teslas work that way. I don't think you turn the car
no, but
on or off.
yeah, but it needs an
sure,
So
ignition
I'm not sure.
switch too. It's all part of safety stuff if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I would rather keep that as a thing. I'd rather
mm,
keep that as a safety, not even for like like my sake, like even though I'm capable of making mistakes as well, but for the safety of there's so many people out there that can't drive for shit, anything that keeps them in check, I'm all
You know,
for it.
that's literally the problem with the stealing Kias, by the way, is the whole it's also
Yeah,
that the
Yeah,
yeah,
but
ignition.
yeah.
that's totally different.
Well,
They're hot wiring a car. I'm talking about this would recognize that the key is in there. You and yeah, I don't think that even affects the push button keys. I think it's
Right.
just the
The
ignition
push button,
ones because
yeah.
they're doing old school hot wiring. So that's not even nowhere near applicable to this.
hmm, I don't know. No,
I thought
I
they were
see what
doing
you
it
mean.
software based.
Well,
Oh,
it's all
I don't
software.
know.
I thought it was like the super simple hack that people would see the hack on TikTok and then go do it with their phone or some shit.
That was how it got started. Yeah, that is where it propagated basically
But
all
the
over the
push
place. It
button
became a
push to
TikTok.
start ones have like a ignition lockout, so that software thing didn't work because you had to actually physically hit the button or something.
I haven't really checked. I just know it was a huge problem. Kia got sued for it. They had a
Hmm.
recall on all their car. Well, not all their cars, but most of their cars, including the model that I own. And they said they fixed it, and apparently they didn't. So it's still an
Oh,
ongoing problem.
jeez.
So right. So my car, by the way, still needs to get that done, and we'll get that done next time it goes
But do
for
you
a
have a push
recall.
button one or a
No,
key?
but
It's a key,
no, we
yeah,
have a key. We have a key, but it's
yeah,
still technically subject to that thing.
yep. No, the key is the one. Like mine isn't.
Oh, I see what you
It's
mean.
not a
Okay, I thought
Kia,
the
it's the
button.
Hyundai, but
Well, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. All right, so they could make it so that you need both hands on the steering wheel theoretically, then it could drive. If you do the situation I described, if you're reaching around your car, your hands are not on the wheel, that it wouldn't go forward. I guess to
Right.
start off, I guess there's workarounds to it, but I do think it needs some kind of thing because inevitably somebody will get in the car and just accidentally step on the gas pedal and the thing will take off.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's what you're worried about, that's going to happen with anyone. There's plenty of people that are going to screw that up or do
Oh yeah,
something
yeah.
stupid
I've
or
seen people get in their car and try to start a car that's already running, or yeah, obviously, yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably more about
Just
kids actually.
the stupidity of people is will always be way ahead of where technology can possibly do. Reminds me of that story about where they said that old story why the uh they supposedly somebody was on a tour of Yellowstone Park and they were showing them where the garbage uh like where the trash cans were, and they were saying like just be careful, you know, bears can still technically like find their way to these trash cans and can still get into them, and so like be careful what you throw out. It can still
Mhm.
attract bears, and the bears will still be able to get in there and take the trash out. And somebody asked, um, I forget what the exact wording was, but somebody was basically like, "Why don't you make the trash cans more complicated so that the bears can get into them?" And they said, "Well." They said, "Well, because the overlap between the smartest bears and the
And the
stupidest
dumbest
people
humans.
is surprisingly large."
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's kind of the same thing.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, well, Jerry, is that all you got to
Buy
say?
this trash
Yeah.
can and make sure to click this QR code for the 1 hour
The
training course.
instructions. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like somebody's gonna just report constantly to the emergency room, like, sir, what happened? Were you working complicated farm equipment? Like, no, I tried to throw out of the wrapper from my Mars bar and it hit my hand.
That's
And then the bear stole my candy bar. He's smart. So yeah. So Jerry, anything else about the EV? Overall happy, no regrets? With
no regrets. None at all.
Kevin, when are you gonna finally convert?
I don't know. I only have 40,000 miles, I think. So
What, to live?
I have a while.
Whatever.
No, I probably would keep my car until like 70-ish or something, where it still has value but isn't close to tanking
Okay.
or
Well,
too
well,
far
fair enough.
gone or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of charging and tanking, I saw the Flash finally.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
Set.
did I.
I was waiting for that segue. Thank you. Anyway, Yeah. So here's an unpopular take. So Jerry, you saw it. Kevin, did you see it yet?
No, but go ahead, talk about it.
I mean, whatever hasn't been spoiled at this point,
Mhm.
I'm sure you're gonna have to be afraid of. I'm
Right.
gonna try to keep maybe the specifics away. I'll put it this way: the movie for me was completely spoiled. From what I heard, it was horrible. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna I read a bunch of articles about it. I watched the clips of all the insane scenes. I watched the ending of it, all of it, because I was like, I don't give a shit, and I still kind of don't. But when it came to streaming, I was like, whatever. I might as well just give it a watch. And yeah, unpopular take. I loved it. I totally understand that Ezra Miller's a piece of shit, and maybe it was good that this might be the movie that destroyed his career. Um, I totally understand what people were saying about the shitty CGI. I get what they were going with in some of those scenes where it looks really bad, but it totally didn't work and just looked like shit. But overall, God, that movie was fucking fun as hell. It deserved so much better, as did everyone else besides Ezra Miller who worked on it. Michael Keaton was awesome. The woman who played Supergirl was fucking great. Like, I hope they keep her for future movies. Um, just yeah, I liked it. I don't know. It was absolutely insane.
No, I have
It
to
was
see it.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. The first scene with the when
The
he's
babies.
with the babies was even more insane than I imagined, even seeing some of the clips. Um, but the rest of it is more balanced. Like, there's some truly hilarious jokes in it where I paused the movie and had to just kind of like chuckle for a few minutes. Um, the story was good. It ended on a kind of sad and pretty dark note where he essentially had to murder his mother,
Yeah.
which went down a very dark path. Um, it had a couple of things which didn't make any sense, where he sort of learned his lesson at the end, but then totally didn't learn his lesson and completely just within 2 seconds completely
Yeah.
just fucked everything up. Um, and yeah, like it was great. I as far as comic book movies go, it was a great comic book movie. The action was good, not great. I would say the third act was a little weak just because it takes place in a big open empty space. Um, I almost feel like that might have been a budget thing where they're like, well, maybe they want to shoot like the scene in like a city, but they're like, no, we don't have a budget for this. They just sort of shot it in the middle of a desert. So that was a little odd. There
Well,
was not a
there
lot of
was where it took place in the original movie, so
right, but in the original
I
movie,
get
Zod
that.
fought Superman. They eventually made it to the city, to Metropolis. Here, they decided to do the final battle before that ever happens, even though his
Right.
gravity machines were already in place in Metropolis. But it was just weird that I think it was clearly a budgeting thing, where it was so much easier
Sure.
to shoot it in a big open space where they could CGI just about anything, and they have the natural green screen of a blue sky just in the back that they don't have to worry about, removing buildings and all this other shit,
Right.
or animate buildings being destroyed and all that crap.
Mhm.
But besides that, like, it looked good. It was fun. I will say it's better than 90% of the complete drivel that Marvel has put out in the last couple of years. The previous movies were good, but like Phase 4, Phase 5, whatever it is, has been mostly garbage. It's better than all that. Sorry, it just is. You can hate on Ezra, you can hate on the CGI all you want. This movie was not nearly as bad as everyone made it out to be. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't care.
I got a good chuckle out of it. There were some pretty funny things. Um I mean, like, personality and actions aside, strictly as an actor, I thought Ezra was I thought he was good. He's good for the part. He plays the doofus, doofus him. But it was amusing. He's got some good deadpan humor with it and everything. So I enjoyed him in it as, the character. But um, yeah, I thought it was funny, but like stupid funny in a lot of places, to the point where I was like, oh, this is just a good like movie to MST3K kind of thing.
I thought that's how it started out. I thought the beginning of it when he's like trying to get food, like trying to get breakfast because he's low on calories, and then obviously
Yeah.
the when he saves the babies and stuffs one in a microwave,
Mhm.
and where he's like you can see him like reaching out to save a baby, but he goes right past them and instead goes towards a vending machine to like get a Twinkie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's that first scene. I'm like, Jesus, if the whole movie is like this is going to be insufferable. Like, but that's the thing. I thought they tampered it really well. The really truly goofy shit like actually sort of like gave way to um more of like an action and story in um like as it went along.
Right.
So like yeah, it I like that's the thing. Like the pacing of the movie was good. Like it had the goofy parts, it had the silly parts, it had um the dramatic parts, the sad parts, there's just yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
it was
Better
oddly
than a bunch of cyber
heavy.
animals?
Oh God,
Uh
yes.
wait, what cyber animals? What are you talking about?
Transformers,
Oh
No.
yeah,
right?
that I'm definitely not bothering.
I heard actually no, I was talking about Guardians of the Galaxy with the animals. But
Oh, I thought you
Oh,
meant yeah, no, that
Transformers,
was
that's I thought that was supposed to be good actually.
um yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
They
many
were like
more
too
of these
much
Transformers.
formula lately and weird.
yeah, it's just weird because it was like took place in 1994, and it was like really, and this is the first we're hearing about all of this stuff,
Oh,
and
they're retconning shit again. Ugh.
yes, sort of. I mean, it
They
kind
do
of fit in.
they do
It
this
was
in every Transformers movie where they're just like
yeah,
where they're like, well, actually, they didn't just come here. They've been here since King Arthur was around, and
yeah,
it's
You
like,
thought they
well,
were here for that one, but
yeah,
really the other team was here way
yeah,
before.
yeah, exactly. Like that's how the
And it
last two
was the
movies have been.
different 20-year-old
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
or
yeah. Remember dinosaurs?
23-year-old.
Those weren't dinosaurs. Those were Transformers. Like, yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. But it's funny because you brought up Guardians of the Galaxy, and honestly, I again at the risk of getting slapped. Guardians of the Galaxy was a huge. The third one was a huge disappointment. Flash was way better than I expected. I'm not gonna say Flash was a better movie, but I'm just saying like after Guardians, I was like, oh, okay, well that was I was expecting something so much better. Whereas with Flash, I was like, wow, I was expecting something way worse. So for
yeah.
the for technically, I walked away from the Flash with a big smile on my face. Whereas with Guardians, I was like, that was
So what you're saying is you only like movies if you get more than you paid for.
Expectations with any movie obviously will set a precedent when you go see it. It's not. I try to avoid it. I try to go, but you can't. The thing is like with something like Guardians, like I love the first two. They are like my favorite Marvel movies. Period. So when I went to the third one, even if it wasn't as good as the first two, I still had expected it to be somewhat good, and it wasn't. It was
But what if
bad.
a movie is like a
But
7, but it like
Jub,
shits a little
whatever.
bit,
yeah,
and you personally think of it as like a 6 or a 5, and the other one is like a 3, but you personally think it's like a 4 or 5, then it's like they're the same movie quality.
well, that happened. Right, so that's why I said like I can't. I'm not going to necessarily say that Flash was a better movie than Guardians, but my as far as my personal enjoyment goes, I enjoyed the Flash much more than the Guardians. I can't lie. I mean, it might be inconsistent. It might be. I see you smiling over there. It might be something that's like not. Um, there's no like straight line to draw from what I like over to the next one, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, you are always. I mean, think of it this way: you're always in the mood for a certain thing, right? If you sit down and are like, oh man, I really want to watch a comedy, and then you watch a movie and you realize, oh shit, that was a horror movie, where it was something even worse, like oh god, that was a romantic comedy with Jennifer Aniston. Then like you're like, well, shit, that's not what I wanted to watch. Like this is crap. But if you sit
That's
down and
just expectation versus fulfillment of
well,
the
that's
right time.
exactly. Well, that's kind of what this was. But I would say the Flash wasn't just like when I was done with it. I wasn't like, oh, okay, that was. That was better than I expected. It was
You
way
weren't
better than I
mad that
expected.
you wasted 2 hours. You were expecting to be like, I wasted 2 hours of my life. And instead you were like, oh, that was really enjoyable.
Right. Like, think of it this way. Like, I told Jerry that The Fountain was an incredible movie, and it is an incredible movie, but Jerry has but Jerry's
Sorry.
working with
Sorry.
with double digit IQs, and he thought it was going to be Encino Man, and he got a very beautiful intellectual artistic movie, which he didn't enjoy.
Nice. I'm in the double digits now.
Exactly. So, it's not Jerry's fault and it's not the movie's fault. It was circumstance. Yeah. So, I hope I
I
hope that cleared up.
Thank you.
I got a
Yes,
movie
that does.
suggestion for you.
I will
What
put it
movie
this way. Well,
suggestion?
hold on, before you do that, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say it's just as far as like if somebody came to me and asked me about these two movies, I would say I could easily tell them like, hey, if you're somebody that loved the previous Guardian movies, you probably will be very disappointed with it. But hey, did you hear how supposedly bad The Flash is? You should watch it. It's actually surprisingly enjoyable.
Yeah,
That's it. Sorry, what
gotcha.
was your movie recommendation?
So I saw over the weekend The Outlaws with a dash because there's two outlaw movies. So that was interesting. It had
Out
Adam
dash
Devine.
laws.
Yeah,
I never heard of it. What's that about? Who's in it?
Adam Devine, Pierce Brosnan. It's but Adam Devine is like fucking stupid funny.
I can't.
It's
Yeah, there's
it's
something about
stupid.
him. I do like him.
It's
I
stupid.
admit.
Yeah, but
If you have you ever seen the Glory? What's that show on HBO that he's in? With the family that runs like a mega church, the Righteous
Oh
Gemstones.
yeah, yeah.
That is incredible, and he's amazing in it. Like that is definitely a show you should absolutely watch. So again, it's about a family that's running a mega church. I forget where they are, but it's got an awesome cast, including John Goodman and Adam Devine is in it. He's like his one of it. He's got like three. He's basically like a pastor, and he's got these three sons, and they're just fuck ups in their own like special
Mhm.
ways. And he's got a daughter too, who's like so. There's like this always like a power struggle, and it's hilarious. It's also brilliant. So yeah, well, if you have a way to watch it, watch it. What's Outlaws about though?
um, well, so Adam is like getting married to this woman whose parents are um uh I don't know. It'd be better to do the synopsis so I don't like give too much of it away actually.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I'll have time to see it, but
I mean,
But it's not
basically,
like
he's such a, his humor is so sort of like dopey. He's just like
mm,
a bank manager, and he finds himself essentially robbing banks with his like in-laws, and it's just one of those dopey comedy movies.
oh, that actually sounds pretty good. I was starting to think maybe I did see a trailer for this. Is that how when did it come out this year?
Mm, yeah.
Oh, yeah, his movies tend to fly under the radar, unfortunately. He did a movie, I don't remember the name of it, but it's supposed to be about like uh I think it's supposed to be about like Siri, where like his phone basically
Was that
begins to
him?
yeah, like where he has like a new like voice assistant on his phone that's supposed to be Siri, and it begins to like basically ruin his fucking life or something. Like it's
hmm,
always watching what he's doing and always just messing with it. Like like it doesn't like to be ignored, so it doesn't like that like he's dating and like doing other things. So it's always fucking with him like on dates and at work and everything. It's supposed to be really dumb, but in the trailer it looks pretty funny.
that's funny.
I'm sure he makes it that way.
He's good. Everything that I've seen him in, he's been really good. No complaints about Adam Devine. Devine or Divine?
Good question.
Is it though? But anyway, yeah, Kevin, if you get a chance, you should you should definitely give uh the Flash a watch.
Yep.
Oh my god.
It'll at least entertain you.
Yeah, that's accurate. I saw a documentary this past weekend. It's called My Octopus Teacher.
Oh yeah, you
And
Oh
like,
mentioned
yeah,
that.
you were
yeah,
telling me.
it just like caught my attention because the books that Kevin and I are reading have, the like some of the main characters in it are octopuses,
Sentient
octopi, octo
octopus.
whatever. Yeah, they're uplifted. But like, so this is a documentary about some guy who did like nature films or something, or documentaries, was just like having a midlife crisis or whatnot. He totally was like, that's it, I'm quitting everything, I'm never touching a camera again. And like, he just started diving into the cold waters off South Africa. And I'm like, okay. And basically he finds this octopus and is like, wow, that's really cool. And like came back to this octopus every day, and like they, for lack of a better word, they became friends. And like this octopus started to trust him and would like hang out with him and swim and hunt with him and like all this fucking shit. And you're like, that's fucking crazy. Great documentary. I highly recommend watching it. It's relatively short. It's like an hour and a half long, but
Hmm.
I
it's amazing. It's fascinating.
You know what's weird?
I
You're not the first person to suggest it to me too.
Yeah.
I don't remember where else I heard about it, but yeah.
I think you heard about it 2 days ago when Jerry suggested it.
No, no, I'm saying before that.
I watched the trailer for it. I love the part in the trailer where he goes, we starts he's like, oh, but it also can get very dangerous, and it shows like sharks, and then he's
Uh-huh.
like, and then right after he's like, anyway, so I took my son with me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that oh, okay. I feel like that commercial should have been
Someone was
edited
having
better.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that editor was having fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it looked good. It looked I did see, yes, like I said, I watched the trailer. It looked depressing a little bit. It looked like it was
It's
going somewhere really sad. Like,
I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit of a tearjerker, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's very sweet though. I really enjoyed it.
Is it? I hope it doesn't end like that documentary about the guy and the bears. Was it Man versus Bear or Man and Bears, whatever? Where some guy went to live with bears for like 10 years, and then the documentary ends because the
He was
and the
eaten.
bears ate him because the bears ate
Oh
him.
god.
Yeah, it's really sad because the guy's like, you watch him and he's a really sweet guy, and like, but there's clearly something wrong with him, and he's living with these bears for years, and he's like, oh, they've totally accepted me, and like he really thinks, he's like, yeah, no, oh my god, I've done something amazing. Like, you think nature's so raw and they're so dumb and they'll just whatever eat and kill to survive, but they're not like that. It's just basically like documentary ended when they
Then they
kill
got
when they killed
hungry.
and eat him to survive.
Oh boy.
it's
Yeah.
it gets kind of dark, but it is sad because, like I said, the guy is definitely not old there, but
No
Nope,
one's
not
eating
anymore.
anyone in this. I mean, it was just basically an interview over a plate of calamari or something like that. Whatever that is. So.
but hey, I mean, credit to him. He did live with them for quite a while. I actually was very surprised when they ate him. I was like, man, that they really must have truly like accepted him for what he is. No, they were just keeping him around like as like basically like when you keep like like a Nutri-Grain bar in your backpack when you're like hungry and you
And
like
then 2
stick one
years
to like,
later, you're like, "Oh shit, I forgot about this," and then eat
yeah,
it
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, the bears are probably like sitting there like, did you get the fish? No, I thought you got the fish. What the fuck? Dude, we're going hibernating in like 10 minutes. What the fuck is wrong with you? You didn't get the fish? I thought you got the fish. Well, what about that guy? Oh yeah, whew, thank God we have that guy. Hey guy,
I
come
mean, he's
here.
not really gonna
Yeah.
hibernate with us.
No, do you think it was? I don't know if it was like that. I think it might have been like it was a hot day. Maybe he got a little sunburn or something, and they were like, you know how like you hear these
Cajun.
vegetarians say, "I was vegetarian until I smelled bacon cooking in the morning. Like, this guy got too hot out. This guy started to cook a little bit, and the bears were like, "What's that smell? That smells delicious." And the other guy's like, "It's Gary." He's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna eat Gary."
Oh my god.
Oh God, yes. Are you gonna eat that? No. All right, let's go. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, he couldn't have been very filling. He was like a skinny, bony
Oh,
dude.
sure he would be.
You know, like he was either like an emergency snack or I don't know, like somebody had like a cheat day between lunch and dinner and was just like, fuck it, I don't care. I ran around the forest for like 8 hours yesterday. I've earned myself a treat.
Oh boy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of,
So
did you guys actually watch Cocaine Bear yet?
I have not. I've been
no, we've
saving
been
myself for
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
same
that's
here.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
We
too.
had a date night a couple of weeks ago without you, Kevin, and we instead watched. What do we watch?
You
It
watched
was The Wandering
Mobile
Earth 2.
Earth 2, or yeah.
Oh, dude! Speaking of which, holy shit! I can't believe I didn't add it to the list. Wandering Earth 2. What the fuck happened there? That movie was fantastic. That's another one that came out of nowhere that was really great. Um, Yeah, Kevin, I was telling you about that. I think I liked it a lot more than Jerry did, but I was blown away by how much better it was than the first one. Like, I would even say, like, you should definitely watch the second one. The only problem is, I still think it makes a lot more sense if you watch the first one, because since the second one is a prequel, it's interesting because it's actually more interesting when you know what's coming
The
and what's going
second
to
one is a
happen.
prequel?
The second one
Yes.
is the prequel to the first one. Yes,
Wait, really?
yes. So it's
So they're
cool
not
because you're like,
actually wandering yet.
no,
No.
they're
They're
wondering
thinking
how
about it.
they're
They're
wondering
they're
they're
wondering how they're
wondering
going to be
yeah.
wandering.
It's the wondering Earth.
Oh my
Wandering
god.
Earth.
That's hilarious.
By the way, seriously, what a missed opportunity to fucking name the movie The Wondering Earth.
Yeah.
Well, they
Where everyone's just
they
sitting around
they
wondering.
primarily weren't English.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So because you know that things are going to happen, so when at certain points when their whole plan like falls apart, you're like, well, wait, I don't how is that going to work out? Because I know they're eventually going to set off, and whatever. But it looks like everyone's going to die instead, and then they figure out how to get around certain problems. Because the movie has an interesting flow to it where they tell you the next disaster that's going to happen, right? For example, you have stuff where they're like, okay, we're going to I'm trying to like say an example without spoiling too much. Like they'll be like, all right, we're gonna test fire this gigantic engine, and it'll prove that this whole thing works, and everything is gonna be great, and we're gonna be able to save humanity. And the next thing you see, like colossal engine failure, massive death in 10 days, and then
Yeah.
it counts down to that disaster, and you see how like it happens, and then they're like, well, shit, everything just fucking failed, and you're like, oh, well, how the fuck are they gonna work around that
Right,
problem?
yeah.
And then there's the reason I also recommended it to you, Kevin, is because it has a whole thing about transcendence in there, where I had a theory going through most of the movie, but I can't tell you what that theory is because it actually would spoil it. But I actually thought there was a certain twist coming at the end that did not materialize. But
Oh.
anyway,
Wow, now I really
I
have to see it.
do
And
see
you
it.
don't
Like
you
it
don't
was
think I
great.
need to see the first one? Just see the second one?
No, that's the thing. I think Jerry said you can get away with it. I still think you unfortunately need to suffer through the first one. You don't okay, I'll put it to this way. If it definitely keeps you from watching the second one, then just say fuck it, just watch the second one. But I think you'll get more out of it. There's also a few characters that appear in obviously both.
Hmm.
The
So,
way I see it, if you watch the movies in the order that they're released, Wandering Earth 1 first, and then Wandering Earth 2, you know that this person, this person, this person is going to survive. You know that like this whole project is going to be successful, or this whole project is going to be unsuccessful. You know all that, and it's like kind of like, oh, how are they going to get through this? Or, oh, that's interesting backstory. So, yes, like you get to be like, oh, that's how these characters met. So you're enjoying that, but you are losing the wonder of just what's going to work and what's not going to work.
I can
If
see
you
that.
don't
Yeah.
do that and you watch them in the order of Wandering Earth 2 first, like you don't know which characters to be invested
Maybe I
for
should do an
to
experiment and watch 2 and then 1, and then I
yeah,
can come back to the team and
that would be
talk
cool.
through it.
That'll taint your experience, so that's still going to be different. I don't think that's going to be the case, because then you can be like, oh yeah, you were right. Watching them out of order was completely fine. But also, honestly, if you're going to watch two without watching one, I say just don't suffer
Don't
through
even
one
bother.
afterwards. Yeah, don't, because one is very difficult to
I
get
can
through. It is.
understand that sentiment. As
Yeah.
soon as I was saying it, I was like, "Oh shit! What would incentivize me to
Yeah.
ruin that experience on the second one?"
Yeah, I would say don't let the fear of watching one keep you from watching two. But two is very well, and it's on. I think it's on like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think the first one was Netflix and the second one was Prime for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, they must
I
have
remember
lost it,
watching.
sold off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think they. I don't think it did as well in the U.S. as they thought. It was a huge. Both movies were very huge hits in China and abroad in general.
Yeah,
So I think that's why Netflix got the rights to the first one, but I don't think the first one did well here, and understandably so. It's fucking awful. Um, but yeah, the second one is great.
Which is a shame, because then I'm sure like unless people just are like, oh, let's watch a stupid movie, let's get drunk and high and watch this movie, they're going to a decent movie is going to go under the radar, you know.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Is there, the what was I gonna say? Uh the length of it also, because it's a 3 hour movie. Both of them are 3 hour. I think about 3 hours long. The first one I watched and I was like, God damn it! I must have been watching this for like 7 hours at this point. This movie must be almost over, and I was like 40 minutes into it. Whereas the second one completely flew by. Like it was 3 hours, and by the time it ended, I didn't even feel it at all.
wow.
It like and like visually it's on such a scale. It's weird because the first one is when they're actually literally piloting a planet through space, yet the first one where they're just getting everything ready is way more visually striking than the first movie.
Hmm.
Like there's an action sequence in the very beginning. Again, I'm not going to say anything, where there's this
Different
massive
director and different studio, right?
no, same everything.
Really?
You know what? I'm not sure if it's the same director. I'm sorry. It's the same studio, but I'm not sure if it's the same director. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. But
Oh,
anyway, there's
right,
a
because it was done what, in China, and
yes,
then
Yeah.
I guess the rights got sold for distribution. That's probably it.
yeah, yeah. There's a huge action firefight kind of thing in the very beginning, which is on a scale that I've like never seen. It's just enormous, and it's somehow not overwhelming to watch. Like when you watch like a Michael Bay movie where there's like 1,000 things happening in your face, including explosions, and you can't tell what is actually going on. You're just watching colors and shapes. This you can actually see everything happening in the foreground and the background, and it's fucking awesome.
Hmm.
And the whole movie just keeps that pace. It's great. Like it's I yeah. Oh, you know what? Also, this movie like paid a lot more. There's definitely still a lot of like scientific dumbfuckery going on, where it's gonna make you like roll your eyes. But then they weirdly like really put a lot of thought into certain other things that, you know, if I say them, they seem pretty obvious. But like a movie like this usually wouldn't take that into consideration. Like there's like again, this won't spoil much, but like there's like it goes into this whole thing like why there's a sudden spike in cancer rates, for example, in the world. And then like there's a thing where they develop these really powerful quantum computers to help um, aid in the construction of these engines. But then because these computers are used for everything, and because it accelerates the production and the development of this kind of computing, you got to realize they're getting ready to like leave, but it's like 100 years away, right? And people still have to lead like their normal lives before this whole event happens. Well, this quantum
Generations.
computing,
Yeah.
right? This quantum computing thing basically destroys the workforce. Like people are now in poverty and out of jobs, so like cancer is spiking and people don't have money, and it's things, it's details that like a movie like this usually would not have, you know.
Hmm.
But then they're
The
like, yeah, let's just,
repercussions of people getting ready for 100 years.
yeah, like they actually address the fact like what it would be like to get to get prepared for a disaster that's 100 years away, and we are taking almost all that time to prepare for it.
And then there's the section of people that are like, oh no, that's not my problem. It's, three
Right.
generations from now. It's not my problem. It's not my kid's problem. It's not my grandkid's problem. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's really good with that. So, yeah,
Hmm.
it's cool. I can't believe I forgot to. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. I wanted to rant and rave about it. So, two movies in a row that I expected to be complete shit were actually really good.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, Kevin,
What about
add it,
Ashoka?
add it
Ahsoka.
to a list. Ahsoka, I'm one episode behind. How far are you guys in the show?
I'm
I saw 3.
infinite episodes behind.
So you have not started. Kevin, how far are you in Ahsoka?
I saw the 3rd one.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't
so
think
you're
they
ahead of
have a
me.
4th, right?
What's that? No, there's 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
so without ruining anything for Jerry, I will say that it's good. I am of the opinion at this point that much like the Marvel stuff, I mean, I love Star Wars. I will watch anything with Star Wars, and even I am just like I can't keep like the thing is I want them to expand on this world and to start going into other stories that go beyond the trilogy and the prequels, and they're stuck in this same time thing, between like the time that Anakin is a kid and the whatever the horrible sequels where the Emperor is back, and I don't even know what happened in that last Return of the Jedi movie, but they keep like filling the little gaps in between all these major events, and they're like afraid to go forward. Now, if you ever read
Yeah.
like any Star Wars comics, like they have lore that goes way beyond it, and it's really, really cool. Like there's some really awesome stories that are way past like where the movies have been. So there's definitely like material that they can work off, but they keep playing it sort of safe, and it's actually running into the same problem that you mentioned with the Wandering Earth, where you because you know what's happening. It that only works for so long. When
Yeah.
every show is just a lead up to a conclusion that you already are
I
expecting,
just read an
it's like,
article about this. It's too canonized, and like everyone knows,
yeah,
essentially
exactly.
the big timeline of this part of the story.
Right.
The
And you can only watch
time
that
board or whatever.
timeline. Right. You can only watch that timeline being retold from so many perspectives where you're like, okay, yes, I get it. He's Darth Vader. He's going to be bad. Luke is going to be there. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, Chewbacca, I got it. Okay. So you like the stake, and because it's the same thing, and because they're all again working towards the same foregone conclusion, the stakes of every show just feel less and less and less
Right.
important. So that's kind of what Ahsoka is running into. Where for me, it's like, okay, it's good. Rosario Dawson is awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, uh, the uh, uh, the other cast is fine. Apparently, I didn't know that they got most of the people who did the voice for the Star Wars Rebel show are the ones that are actually not doing the live action version of the show. So this is basically Star Wars. If you've never seen Star Wars Rebels, this is basically it was an animated show. This is like almost like just another season of the Rebels show. It's from the
Yeah.
same guys. It's Dave Filoni. As far as like the way the production and the way it's done, I would put it somewhere between The Mandalorian, which is campy and kind of corny, and Andor, which was actually, I would argue, the best Star Wars show so far, but it's
Yeah, that
leaning
was
a
great.
little more towards The Mandalorian with like the production value of like
I can
Andor. You know
see
what I
that.
mean? Like it's sort of, yeah, like it looks good and there's some cool like space stuff. So you feel like the budget is there, but the writing and the story pacing, everything like
It's
that,
a little slow.
it's a little slow. Yeah, it's a little episode. Yeah, it feels a little closer to the Mandalorian. It's a little
There's like some
campy in that
heavy
regard.
character development going on because they're trying. I mean, I think that's the only way you can go when you have heavy canonized stuffs. You write more around characters and try to tell like why their story is unique and you know
Yeah, and they
interesting
also
and
yeah, and they also have to. They're also kind of stuck with the problem where, like, as I said, it's kind of like almost another season of like Rebels. So it has to cater to the people who did watch Rebels, but since most people have not, they also have to fill in the gaps for those people like that haven't. So they're kind of like giving you like the
right
backstories and
standalone.
everything else, what happened. So I can imagine the people that did watch Rebels are kind of like they're both happy that they get more of these characters, but it's also like, yeah, like a lot of it is like they already know. They don't need to be like retold, you know?
Yep.
So I don't know. It's good. Like I said, I would put it in the category of uh it's good. I said like I can't like it's not a terrible show. Like I can easily say like the Book of Boba Fett was horrible. Don't watch it. Whereas Ahsoka is good.
Is
You'll
good? You're saying
Yeah,
it's good?
it's good. It's
Is
you
it
know
good?
it's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good.
So it's good
Yeah,
or it's good?
no, it's
It's
good.
good.
It's a good.
Yeah,
It's good. It's
it's
good.
not it's not it's not it's good. It's it's good.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
it's good.
It's
I
good.
got it.
I don't even
We should
finish the
do
word. It's good.
uh,
You
yeah,
good.
good.
It's
It's
good.
good. It's good. That's gonna be a whole new scale. Like instead of like being 0 to 10, it's like how much stank you put on the word good.
Partialized. Yeah.
Like it's gay.
It's good.
Gay. It's
It's
gay.
you give it the ick. You give it the ick feeling. It's gay.
Yeah, it's gay. Mm. Whereas whereas the Wandering Earth 2 was it's good. Ooh. Oh, it's good. Yeah, like that.
That's
So
nice.
yeah. Anyway,
Good stuff.
It's good.
so
Yeah.
aside, yeah,
Go on.
and I was gonna transition into into the next thing that could definitely occupy your time. Um, have you guys? I know the answer, but I know that Kevin's in a rut, and Jerry, I know you're busy with your clickers, but anyone play anything fun?
Goobers. Goobies.
Oh yeah.
What?
it's
His
it's
There's
called
goobers.
Goobies. It's another bullet hell
Goobies?
game. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Wait, that I did not tell you about? Because usually I send you like 80 of those bullet hell
I
games a
don't think you
day.
did actually. It popped up in
Oh,
my
okay.
thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, this
Goobies.
looks cute and cool."
Goobies. That's awesome. No, I've never heard of Goobies. What's Goobies like?
Um, I
It's
mean, if you,
goobtastic.
yeah, yeah,
Is it on it? So it's good.
it's a Vampire Survivors type of thing with an auto bullet and different and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so
Okay.
it's just minimalistic art. It probably is like whatever engine and some college kid making it. I have no idea about the studio. I'm just making shit up, by the way. Sorry
Yeah.
if you're like AAA,
It's
just
probably like I was gonna say it's probably like
side project.
yeah, it's probably like yeah, it's probably like EA like on the side making it. We're 10,000 people working on this. What are you talking about?
Who is it? It's actually Knives. The developer and the publisher is called Knives.
Right.
I have
I
no
love
idea what
their
they've done. But
stuff.
yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. It's vampire survivors like picking up, boosters and shit and running away from monsters as they get even more hard to kill and more hit points
Oh.
and shit and you do weird crazy combos. And then you
Oh,
have
okay.
like the roguelite power up like fine tuned upgrades that apply to every run kind of thing. So
Okay,
it's
that's cool.
neat. I haven't unlocked all of the creatures yet, and it's surprisingly amusing.
So wait, goobers?
Goobies.
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 It's kind of
Okay.
hard to forget that name once you realize.
And yet here I am. So okay. Goobies. Okay. Add that to the list. Do they have a demo? Well, I'm assuming the game costs like $1.99,
Yes, they
like all
do
the like all the
actually. It's
Oh,
like
any of a
$6, and
demo.
I think I got it on sale.
$6.
Yeah.
Jesus. Did you have a chance to try Thronefall that I mentioned?
No.
That one
Might
I
not
think
have.
that one you guys actually both might like. It's also like $6, and it goes on sale. It's an indie darling these days. It's a very very simple game. Uh, it's sort of a
$7.
common. Oh, I'm sorry.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Oh yeah, people freaking love it. This I've been watching a lot of people stream it. It's a very simple kind of like um, if you have you ever played the game called Kingdom? It's like
No.
it's like a side
Maybe.
it's a side it's a side scrolling game. I don't know why I'm using my hands. It's a
Mhm.
side scrolling game where it's 2D and you're like a guy on a horse. And it's almost like a tower
I'm on a
defense game.
horse.
Yeah, he's you basically have a town and how should I describe it? It's kind of like tower defense. So you write, but it's like a 2D tower defense. It's you really have to kind of play the game to understand how it works. But basically, you're riding back and forth on this 2D plane, and you're collecting resources. And as you're doing that, you're using those resources to, let's say, for example, like you can hire people to chop down trees, which they earn resources. Then you use those to build like ramparts and towers and gates and stuff like that to keep enemies out. And then every once in a while there's waves of enemies that come and damage some of your stuff and you fight them off. And then you use the time between attacks to fix those structures and build all new ones, and the waves get stronger and stronger as they come from both sides and converge basically um, on this town that you're trying to protect. And that's like an oversimplification of it. So this is the same thing except it's sort of top down in 3D, where you basically every day you have a certain amount of resources you collect, and you build up your town defenses or different things to protect it. Then you click on start waves. The waves come, you fight off as many as you can, rinse and repeat, basically. But it's very like simple. The mechanics in it are very very simple. You basically just play with a mouse. I don't think you even use the keyboard for anything. Maybe for like a special attack or something like that. But yeah, you basically fight it off, and the enemies obviously get harder and harder as they go. It's supposed to be really good, and the game is very popular, so they're going to be updating it and supporting it for the foreseeable future.
It looks
That's
kind of
cool.
neat.
Yeah, it's neat. I have not picked it up yet. I've only watched it played, but I'm definitely going to get it.
What was this? Thronefall?
Yep, you'll
That's
see.
cool.
They have a very simple logo. It's like a yellow and blue.
Yep.
I think thing that just says Throne
Purple,
Fold
maybe.
across it.
Yeah.
Maybe purple. Yeah. It's great. I don't know the how long it'll hold you, but yeah, for like $6-7, and it's usually
Yeah, that's not bad.
I might
wait
have
for a
to get
Steam
that
sale.
one.
I'm sure it'll yeah, wait for a Steam sale. It'll be like $4,
So what does it
whatever.
play like?
The mechanics are similar to these. There's a couple of them. I would compare it to a game called Kingdom. Again, it's like a 2D.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you were describing. I guess I haven't seen enough to
No,
understand that.
I own. I forget where I have Kingdom. I forget. It might be on GOG. I forget. But anyway, those are also excellent games, by the way. But yeah.
I don't mean to hijack this, but
Oh,
the I'm on a horse thing made me think of Old Spice, made me think of Terry Crews. Did you see that he has a new, like, I guess it's almost like a public service announcement that he does to get colonoscopies, but he does it as President Camacho from Idiocracy, who went back through time to today to now to get a colonoscopy.
I only saw it because you were kind enough to send
Wait,
it to
what is
me, and
this?
it was hilarious. Jerry
It,
sent us a link for it at like a week ago. It was fucking amazing.
Wait a minute, I totally missed it.
Have you ever
What are you
seen
talking about?
Idiocracy? Have you seen
No. No,
Idiocracy?
maybe that's why I didn't get it.
uh,
Like any
Okay.
reference.
That's by the way, you need to add that to the list. Idiocracy is again a must watch. We should do that on one of the date nights, by the way, because that is a movie you absolutely have to see.
I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah,
I will totally watch that.
My
it's pretty
Rudolph.
incredible. I mean, it's or just stick your head out the window and you'll see it happening in real time.
Yeah, it's I constantly say it's a documentary.
Yeah, it got a terrifying amount of things correct. But
Yeah.
anyway, but to give you the quick
Well,
rundown
what's
of
the
it,
other
Kevin.
one? Yeah.
What? What's the
Hmm?
other one? Oh,
What do you
That.
say?
basically, in the movie Idiocracy, Terry
Yeah.
Crews plays this incredibly insane American president. What is it, like Hector Camacho, something, whatever. He's just
Yeah.
like he's like a combination of like Randy Savage, Macho Man, and meth. I don't know. I don't even
Yeah,
know what. Yeah,
Donald Trump, I guess.
yeah, basically, like he's insane. He's an idiot. He's just loud. Like Terry, it's Terry Crews at his fucking best.
So
And
good.
yeah, and basically what he did is he made a public service announcement, type of video, as Jerry said, about the importance of getting a colonoscopy, where he plays the president, where he totally dressed up as the character, um, as President Camacho, who traveled back in time because we actually have healthcare, and in the future they don't because they've destroyed everything, and to get a colonoscopy, and he stays in character throughout the entire fucking thing.
Oh my
It is
god,
it's incredible. Yeah.
It
that's
is great.
hilarious.
Yeah. And it's an actual, like, he actually gets the procedure. Like, he's in a real
Like
medical
what's her
center.
face on Good Morning America or whatever the fuck
I don't
when
know.
that
I've never
woman
seen
did it.
Morning.
Don't you remember that?
No, I don't watch Good
Katie
Morning America.
Couric.
I,
Maybe it's the morning show.
I don't
Whatever.
know. I don't. Anyway,
That
but
was
yeah,
like
like,
years ago. She had one done on the show. I don't know. Whatever the
I
fuck it
imagine
was.
this is way funnier and way more entertaining.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
yeah, yeah. So, like, yeah, like they're explaining it to him, and he's like making jokes about it, and oh god, it's just. And as soon as he wakes up, like they drugged him, he's like drugged, half asleep, and he immediately goes right back into character, even though he's like in pain and on like he's on pain meds, and like I said, he's like half conscious, and he just immediately goes right back into character, like even though he's like
That's
passing out with
hilarious.
like one eye closed.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Like Terry Crews is a gift. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Um, God. But yeah, no. Honestly, Kevin, Idiocracy is an absolute like you watching it. You're gonna be amazed by just how accurate how some of
And
the things that they got.
and a bit scared. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, it's
You're
like if
like,
they got if
yep.
they got that part right. Oh God, this truly is our future at this point.
I mean, that's a older show, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
So
movie.
it
Yeah.
2006. So I mean, we're already here, aren't we?
We're frighteningly close to it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Basically, it's basically one of the running things about is that intelligence is seen uh, as a weakness, or uh, I'm not gonna say anything else. Let's just say people who are smart are basically seen as like outsiders and freaks, and they're not very liked by people. Like nobody wants to hear facts. Everybody has their own like warped view of everything like that. People are basically just like watching nonstop ads and people farting in their faces, like, and just are basically just like jerking off while
Go
while
away,
watching.
I'm
Yeah,
baiting.
yeah, Baton, go away. Yeah. Like the movie that wins the Oscar is a two is
Oh,
is 90
so
minutes
good.
of just you just see an ass farting. That's the movie that wins the Oscar that year in the movie.
Man, that movie
Yeah,
is so good.
In
it's
slow motion.
I, I don't remember. Everyone's eating fast food, and it's a disaster. Anyway, I don't want to tell you anything more about it because you should really. It's a movie you should experience,
Yeah.
definitely for yourself. But yeah. Anyway, but Throneful, yeah, check that out. Um, as far as anything else that have you guys played anything else?
No.
Um, no, I mean not outside of, as you said, my silly clickers, the stupid shit that I usually play.
All right, well then I'll go. I got back into Elden Ring because now that I've actually been playing it again, I actually can't believe I ever stopped. Kevin, you got to get back into that game. Jesus fucking Christ. There's not a moment still. I don't even know how many hours I have in this by now or how many months I've been playing it. I'm considering the break that I took, but it still completely fucking blows me away in everything that I find. Um, I finished Ronnie's quest, by the way.
I don't remember.
You know,
Oh,
oh,
I think
Ronnie
I
is the
do.
witch. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I finished her quest.
Did you save her?
Well, I don't want to tell you. You don't
Okay.
exactly save her. I will say this though: what you get as a reward for finishing the quest was very underwhelming. It's an item that is prominent through all the Dark Soul games. It's a sword. It's a this moon something sword. But I was like, oh, this is going to be like a really important item, and it's going to be like very powerful. It is like levels below what I already have. And I'm like, cool. I just spent all this time getting this stupid fucking sword. I guess
Mhm.
throw it, just throw it in the bag. I guess whatever.
Hmm.
So, but anyway, but other than that, it's a pretty amazing game. And I beat that boss, the Star Void, whatever the guy who is way below underground, who's supposed to be like one of the hardest bosses in the
Oh,
entire game.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fucking got that guy. Really not that hard. Surprisingly, I was very surprised. I figured out his pattern pretty quickly. And the only problem with him is that he has one complete fucking bullshit move, which one shots you no matter what,
Oh, that
and
sucks.
it is very hard to dodge. Once you figure it out, as long as you like, the thing is he does it very rarely. He only does it like once or twice. So as long as you can dodge it like once or twice, you're completely fine. But everything else, I actually thought he was fairly easy.
Hmm.
And he's like one of the last things you need
It
to.
would
I
take
think,
me
yeah, me too.
forever to figure out, like, I would have to like retrain my hand eye and the keys and all that stuff.
It's just
It,
like riding a bike.
yeah,
Well,
no, it does,
kind of.
but no,
But
but
I'm
that's like,
keyboard and mouse, not a controller, so.
oh no, fuck that. I will always play controller. But that's the thing, like you said, as far as learning things, like that's still my favorite things about these games. The fact that you
Oh
have to
wait,
like,
did I start playing? I think I actually started playing controller.
I think
That's
you
so
did.
funny.
Yeah,
I
I can't imagine
remember,
playing Elden Ring.
like, I used to do the keyboard and then I switched. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll have to get back into it. Maybe it will be like riding a bike.
I don't understand how you could possibly play something like Elden Ring with keyboard and mouse. I would absolutely kill myself.
Well, the lock-in assist, or I
No, I
just
just
got
mean as
used
far
to
as
it.
there's just something about it. Like there's again, I know we've had this conversation multiple times before. Just like playing on a keyboard and mouse, playing any game on a keyboard and mouse is just such a disconnect for me. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I need the thing in my
Most of the
hand.
time I'm fine, but this game actually lends itself to the controller, and I had to concede to it. But it's fine because I also use the spells and stuff.
Hmm,
I have some good
okay.
stuff. I don't know how far it gets me, but I remember
Uh,
farming for a
oh
little
well,
while.
I respect. I don't know if I told you. I completely respect my character. I was
And
a
melee?
sorcerer.
Yeah.
I start. Yeah, yeah. I'm more melee at this point.
That's interesting. I didn't respect you.
Nice, very nice. Thank you. Yes, it was. It was. I finally decided to do it. I finally got me some respect. So, well, all right. So then, Kevin, are you going to be playing Starfield with a keyboard and mouse or a controller? You got to. You only have like one day to decide.
I mean,
It's only about a
probably
day.
keyboard and mouse. Um,
Is
but
that how
I'm
you play your?
actually going away for vacation, so I'm gonna be out of all that shit starting Wednesday until next week.
You're going on a vacation. Wait, you took a vacation not to play Starfield, but to actually go away somewhere?
Yeah, it happened.
Ugh,
I
your
know.
priorities
Descent
are
amongst
real.
the ranks. I get it. I know.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then
No,
actually,
no.
there's I just remembered I have something else going on next Monday. Oof.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Well, maybe
Well,
we'll just watch Cocaine Bear without you then if,
Yeah.
you're too busy for us.
well, the good news also is that Starfield's on Game Pass. So if you go on vacation, you can take Starfield with you.
Yeah.
It
No,
travels with you where
yeah.
you have a
Put
Steam
it on
Deck
the
for
deck.
something. Yeah,
And if it's raining for 4 nights, um, we'll be
yeah.
indoors the whole time.
Just get sick. Tell them you're sick. Whenever you get just go on vacation, but be like, oh, I feel a slight COVID coming on. It's surging, so it's fine because
Yeah.
and that'll be great because not only will you be able to do whatever the hell you want, but also people will leave you the fuck alone because nobody will want to be around you. So you can lock yourself in a room or
Oh, that's
hotel,
ideal.
whatever,
And just,
and just sit
deal
there
with, yeah.
and play Starfield. There you go. You're welcome. See?
I
So
played the shit out of Tiny Rogues the last time on my deck. It was fantastic.
There you go.
so what about Starfield is supposed to be so amazing? I really haven't followed the game.
Have you ever played Skyrim or Fallout?
Yeah.
There you go. It's in space
Okay.
now.
It's just in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. And
I don't think
it's
I don't think this
surprisingly
is gonna.
not that updated either from that engine, which I'm a little bothered about.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Fucking
they use the
Bethesda.
same engine. But they did finally improve the facial animations, so the characters don't all look like they're dead on the inside anymore when they're talking to you.
It's the inventory. It's gonna be the death of me. Like fucking hated that so badly. It's like the
Well,
Sega
they
games.
actually,
Fucking
well, no, but it's
ridiculous.
worse. If you didn't like the way inventory is done in Fallout, good news, it's different but worse. So,
Yeah.
do
We're
you
gonna have
like taking
to
twice as long as you did
get
before to do
mods.
a simple function?
Yeah. I used to have the mods installed for inventory management.
So here's what's cool. They actually will have mod of what is it called? Not availability, but basically the game will be moddable even
Support.
on the
Support.
thank you mod support. Thank you on the console versions as well. And people are apparently
That's
are
interesting.
already like people have already made mods. The game's not even out yet, and there's already mods for it. So, but yeah, Jerry, to answer your question, it's just huge. It's going to be a very huge game. I don't think everything that I've seen. So the reviews for it have been sort of leveled off. There's a few reviews that kind of gave it like 7 out of 10s, but it was done by like questionable reviewers who are like known to have certain biases, but whatever. Um,
Mhm.
Most of the reviews land sort of like in the I would say like 8 to 9, 9.5 sort of territory. It's surrealistic. And I think what the biggest consensus is that it's a great game, but it's a very, very good game. It's good, but it's not like some kind of generational game. It falls into the same problems what we talked about with some of the movies is that people hyped it up way too much. Like the expectations were like unachievable. Like
Right.
we're just not quite there yet with this kind of stuff. So they made a really great game, and the people that didn't have these blown out, overblown expectations met are like just like, oh, I expected this. I can't believe it doesn't do this. I can't believe it doesn't do that. Look at this. It's like this isn't realistic, or like you can't do this. Why isn't that working? And they're like, we never told you it would. You
Yeah.
came up with this stuff in your own fucking head and sorry we didn't meet your imaginary expectations. We never told you they never really lied about the game.
Mhm.
They kept saying like it's basically like it's a Bethesda game in space. That's what we're giving you. And
Yeah.
people that I've seen play it, the streamers all love it. I haven't seen, and at least none of the streamers that I follow, um I'm sorry, the streamers that I do follow have all been like, this game is fantastic. I love it. I can't put it down. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And if you need any more like if you need any more evidence that like people are just overreacting to some of the dumbest shit, I don't know if you heard, but the biggest thing that's been like in the video game news in the last 2 days is that this game allows you to pick your pronouns, which set off a whirlwind of like that crowd
Oh my
going
god.
completely bananas. Like, how dare you
The
put this in the
anti or the
game?
pro? Oh, the anti crowd.
No, the pro people are just like, oh, you can choose pronouns.
Hey,
Cool.
thanks.
Anyway, onto space. There's
Yeah.
like videos of streamers throwing their controllers at the wall, like ripping off their microphones, their headsets, screaming into the microphone. How dare you bring this woke shit into my game? How well, like, where do you get off? I just want to sit down and play a game. I don't need to be fucking. I don't need your fucking
God.
agenda shoved in my face. By the way, it's to the point where like the game doesn't. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken because I haven't played it. I've just watched it. I don't even think it even like asks you. I think there's just a tab that says like pronouns, and if you click on it, it says, "Hey, what do you want to change your pronouns?" The game doesn't go like, "Hey, hey, 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 come here, come here, come here, come here." isn't Antifa great? And the answer is yes. What is your pronouns? Like it doesn't do that. It's just like one of the 50,000 things you can do when you design your character. And these fucking losers just zeroed in on this one little fucking detail that
course.
they can't fucking deal with. And people will just be I smashed my Xbox. I refunded the game and threw my Xbox at the wall. I'm done with Xbox.
Like,
It's like I'm
good.
never. Yeah,
You're out an Xbox, you
yeah,
dumb fuck.
yeah. I mean, it's just the dumb fuckery of these people is insane. By the way, there's actually a video of one of the streamers. He so he went on a rant about this. He literally like did the thing where he's like playing it like he's playing it on stream and he gets the pronoun part and he like throws his like out and he's like I gotta fucking talk to you guys about this. This is bullshit. And he goes on like a 20-minute rant about how like this is this is unacceptable and he hates it. And then immediately somebody found a video of him when he was playing when like Hogwarts was getting a lot of stuff because of J.K. Rowling's anti-trans views.
Yeah.
Where he goes on a similar rant except saying like I don't give a shit about like just because a game doesn't fit your sensitive ideologies or just because it has a couple of things about it, I'm not a big baby. I don't care about those little things. I'm playing it because I like video games. I don't care about like this or that. Like, only like, only weak-minded people would give a crap about, all the
And
stuff
then
that
all of
ties
a
into
sudden,
the
20-minute
politics.
rant.
Yeah, right. And then, but of course, once it doesn't align with his views, all of a sudden he's, completely, he's 100% hypocritical about that shit. So, anyway, yeah. So that's where that game is, currently. And keep in mind, technically, is not even out yet.
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yeah.
It is coming out. It's coming out.
The guy that leaked stuff got like charged with
Jail.
federal offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
In jail.
Yeah. If you need some time to fill, though, by the way, before Starfield comes out, I highly recommend you guys check out a game that's also on Game Pass. It's called Sea of Stars. I put it on the list as well.
Yeah.
That one's a little. Have you guys ever played something like the classic Final Fantasies? Actually, specifically something like Chrono Trigger
Yeah.
games back in the day.
Yeah.
So this is an homage to Chrono Trigger, basically. It's a gorgeous like pixel art RPG that is very.
Jerry,
It's
I think you're
simple.
muted.
Uh, I think it's like again if you've uh, I don't it's a little hard to explain. It's basically it's a pretty linear game and it is technically an RPG, but the leveling in it is it's simple. Like everything about it is simple. It's a really simple game to pick up and play. It's a really simple game to put down and to sort of jump on when you can.
It
It's
looked
very
pretty
pretty.
cute. It was pretty cool. That I get what you're
It's
talking about with that
that
three-quarter
art style.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. If you really run around the environments, you can tell they put a lot of time into all the details of this world. Like you go into like homes and there's like all the details. Like there's books on the shelves, there's like candles, there's
Yeah.
like utensils on the tables, like everything. Like nothing feels copy pasted. Sort of like the environments are very
Yeah.
well
And it's
handcrafted.
sprited. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So somebody had to like, generate the object and place them just for aesthetics.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Mhm.
The music is beautiful. The lighting in it is good, and the lighting is actually apparently a very important thing because there's a mechanic in the game where if you stand on these certain shrines, and that's actually one of the puzzle solving things that you do from time to time. If you're standing on these sort of shrine things, you can uh, change completely fluidly the time of day from like sun, like you basically shift the sun in the sky. So like the scene fluidly will shift from like day to like afternoon,
Mhm.
evening, night, whatever, and very very smoothly. So to watch this environment change dynamically in that art style is amazing to the point where
Yeah.
there was a documentary made about this game before it came out. They asked them about it and they said like we can't even tell you, it's actually a proprietary thing that we designed for this game. Believe it or not, that's very difficult to pull off. And it's not just like a color palette change. or a lighting source change. There's a very complicated engine that's changing the entire world, like basically to depending on the time of day, and it does so smoothly. Like as
Yeah.
you're just holding a button, and it just gradually gets darker, darker, darker night, and then the sun rises, so everything's like more orangey, whatever, and then sort of gets bluer, or whatever.
It's got to
It's
be
it's
some
it's
kind of calculation engine based on like, parameters that they came up with to model it. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. It might be that. I don't know. It looks beautiful. Um, it's not a game for everybody because it is, as I said, it's simple. There isn't like a lot of depth in it.
Yeah.
Like there's only a few weapons that you end up getting. There's only a few extra skills you learn. You level up here or there. But again, because the game is so linear, it's not a game. It's not an RPG on a scale of like modern Final Fantasy games or even like your Elden Rings or whatever, where you're like we have to go grind out levels in order to progress. You're always kind of like leveled to where you need to be in the game.
Yeah.
So the battles don't really get any easier or any harder.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but there's some cool things
That's
like
old
inside.
school. That's how that stuff
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it's very the battles are easy. There's a couple little cool new things they added, like even though it's turn based, if you as your character attacks, if you press like the attack button, if you time it right, they get like a bonus hit. Same thing, like they get a bonus defense, so you're more engaged in the battle. There's some skills you have where like the female character, she has this like boomerang thing that she throws that she can deflect. So if she throws it, it bounces off an enemy, goes flying back to her. If you press the attack button in time, she reflects it back, and it speeds up as it goes back and forth between you and the enemy. And you keep that up for as long as you can to do more damage. So like,
Oh,
Oh,
that's funny.
yeah,
little
so there's
mini
stuff like
game
that.
out of the weapons.
Yeah. Speaking of mini games, there's I know Jerry's a big fan of those.
Yeah.
There's a when you enter taverns, there's a game you can play, a gambling game called Wheels, which is actually really really fun. That it's like a game within a game. Um, First of all, it looks really cool, but the way it basically works is it's a combination of um, when you play slots in the casinos, it's a combination of that and um, oh shit, I don't even know. But the way it works is like this. Um, it's basically you versus another person, and each one of you has two little figures, and the figures are representative of like different warriors. So you can have like a knight, a mage, a thief, an assassin, whatever. There's like six of them or something, and you each have two, and you each have like a little crown symbol. So basically, your two figures are supposed to defend the crown while defeating the opponent's crown. I guess their king or whatever. The crown
Hmm.
represents like their king. So you both start with like there's like a little icon of a crown, and there's a number 10, which represents like the hit points. And then you play the slots, and when they stop spinning, you decide which symbols you want to like lock in and which ones you want to respin. And you get to do that two or three times. Depending on which symbols you line up with, those symbols feed into your little like figurines. And when you amass enough points, they get to do certain actions. Like they can put up a barrier, or they can cast a spell, or they can attack, or they can like fire a weapon, or they can level up. And depending again on which symbols you get. And the whole thing is you don't know what the symbols that the other player is spinning. So you can choose like to for example to put up a barrier, and they can choose to attack, and your barrier will just block their attacks. But if you're attacking, or if you're doing something that's leaving your king open to attack, then they can do like a lot of damage to you. And you go back and forth through like a few turns. It's again, I'm trying my best to sort of explain it without
Yeah.
any sort of visual aids, but it's really cool. And it actually, when I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they were talking about it, and I'm the guy on it actually had a really good idea. He was saying that these barcades that we have, instead of having like arcades, of just the regular games that we usually have, somebody should actually have a barcade where you pull all these games that you have inside of the video games,
Oh, that's
so you get to
hilarious.
come in and play those in real life. So like, you walk into a bar and you get to play like Gwent, or you get to play this or whatever happens to
Oh,
be.
that's funny.
Like these little mini games inside. Like that would be freaking cool.
Yeah, we
Actually,
went to a place sort of like that last week. It was a restaurant a few blocks away from me. It's called Nerdvana, and like you sit down and they're like, what game system do you want to use? And you could be like Xbox or whatever. And like if it's a two-person table, you're both
PS5,
sitting like,
Xbox, yeah,
yeah, on the
or
same.
Wii
Yeah, I don't know how we would work. Is that the one with
or
the where
Switch, maybe.
you
Was it Wii or
yeah,
Switch?
doesn't that have like the motion controllers?
No,
I don't know how
yeah,
you
I
would.
think it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Switch, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Switch has motion controllers as well, but yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
but those little controllers, yeah.
No, but this is like you sit down, you order dinner, and you're staring right at a TV
A
and playing whatever
two-person
game.
booth, the two players are side by side
Oh,
staring at
yeah,
a
yeah.
TV, and if it's a
That's interesting.
four-player booth, the TV's on the side, and it's like a regular double booth at a diner or something, but the TV's to everyone's side, so everyone's got to turn like 45 degrees.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So that actually brings up a question. I was at the arcade. We went down the shore a couple of months ago. You guys might have heard about it.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we as I was trying to control a screaming toddler, and she ran into one of the arcades, and they had VR games in there with VR headsets. Which how
Sure.
does that work? Because they obviously,
It
you know,
depends on the game, I
Yeah,
guess.
some
no,
of them
no,
are
no,
just,
no, no,
gun shooters where it's a anchored
no.
gun
I
and
don't.
you swivel it around and shoot
Oh
things.
no, that part I'm okay with. But you realize that like no one is like watching this thing. People just walk in, put their money in, and put on the VR set and play it.
Oh
Do
wait,
you
like
really want
that?
to? Yeah. Do
The
you?
when
Yeah.
I've seen VR games,
You mean
it's
like,
something where you like sign up for it and then they like they have equipment there that they
No. No.
oh,
sanitize
not
or whatnot.
No. These are
Lasertron or
just.
whatever?
Yeah. No. These are just hanging there with like an
Yeah,
extended cable. You
right.
put your money
Oh,
in. You pull this thing down. You
Yes.
put it on your
It
face.
used to
That is.
not be a big deal,
Oh, that
and
is
now
that's
dis-
we're like,
disgusting.
we're all like, germaphobes again because of COVID.
Look, I mean, I understand when you're playing an arcade, you're also touching the same buttons and the same joystick as the next person. I
yeah, but
get it.
I
it's
get
not
it. It's
on your
closer to your
face.
eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like how is everyone not walking out of there with fucking pink eye?
Yeah.
I honestly, I thought that was fucking vile. Like, I would never put on a fucking headset that someone else, because you're just like sweating into it. Oh, it's so
Uh-huh.
you got like your greasy hair and
Some
oh,
kid sneezed into it or something.
well, their mouth is open, but yeah, but I mean, actually, they're more likely to sneeze on the buttons and joysticks. But like, yeah, kids like don't
You still
clean
get the
themselves.
disinfection wipes,
They're like
but you still
oily and
don't do it every time. Yeah.
yeah, eye boogers. Oh, it's so disgusting. Like those things must be so crusty. It's
Oh,
I saw them just
I'm
hanging
so
there.
skeeved out right now.
Yeah, I still like I haven't been I couldn't sleep at night just thinking about like some and like like some of them I can't. It's the beach too. So like it's hot. So people are walking in like covered in
Uh-huh.
sweat. Like they're sweaty and dirty and they're just like strapping these things on and
Oh, behave.
then Ugh. Anyway, that seems like that just seems like a tiny little spreader event waiting to happen.
Yeah, oh, I'm skeeved out. I'm sorry. I can't even think of it now. I
That's
just like imagine this like little kid picking his nose and he wipes it on the lens or on the forehead part and you put it on there and then you got this kid's booger. Okay, I'm skeeving out.
yeah, that's the thing. Like if you touch a joystick, you're playing arcade and you touch like a joystick and it's sticky, you're like, ew, okay, I'm gonna go
Oh,
wash my hands or wipe my hands. But you
right.
put this
Yeah.
thing on it and it's sticky and you're like, well, what do you
You
I
just
mean,
have like a booger in the middle of your
yeah,
forehead walking
like
around, not
what are
even
you gonna
It's like,
realizing.
ow,
like what are you
shit.
gonna
Why is
do?
that scratching? Oh, what is
Yeah,
this
Ew.
crust?
yeah. And like you try to rub your eye, but you're really rubbing it farther into your eye and
Stop. That's
no.
nasty.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And
Anyway,
then it
it
just
seems like a terrible
drains
idea.
down into your sinuses, and you're like, what is that
No,
odd smell?
yeah. Ugh, yeah. Ugh, God. Anyway, that's absolutely disgusting. I don't see how people install those in their arcades and nobody went, well, hang on a second, guys. Maybe this isn't great.
We sure this is a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember when I did test when I went to when they VR was first like being introduced. When I went to a, I tried it twice. I tried one of them in a Best Buy and another one in I think it was a Microsoft store. Dude, they fucking bleached the shit out of it, like between
Yeah.
every person. Like it was burning, but that's because it was clean. Like, so yeah, I don't. That's pretty nasty. But yeah. Anyway, uh, the only other thing, honestly, I was going to mention is I'm actually partially hoping that Starfield doesn't hold me because I want an excuse to play Remnant 2 because that game is fucking awesome. That's like
Oh,
the
I
people
have
I
to
have a
try
couple
that.
people at
Yeah.
work. Yeah, I have a couple people at work that picked it up and they fucking loved it. Everybody I've seen it that I've seen play it loved it. It looks awesome. The first one was good. This one looks even better, like way better. So, Jerry, if you've never heard of it, it's
Yeah.
basically I'm underselling it by saying this, but it's kind of like Dark Souls with guns, but it's more than that. It is really good.
Uh-huh.
Um, and its biggest selling point is that the worlds. So you basically start on Earth, and you're in this compound, and then there's like this world. I forget what it's called. This big glowing red stone thing, which lets you travel to other worlds. But what's cool is that those worlds are when you arrive at a certain world, the levels are procedurally generated every single time, and you'll need to go to it multiple times.
So
But
like each time you go to the world, it's different.
it's different. But not only is it different in a sense that like like oh that tree is now over here or like that was that swamp took me a couple of minutes longer to get to, but it's still there. You know what I mean? It's not like just different tiles. They the environments change to such a degree where like the environments that you go into, even though you're going into the same world, will be very different. Like you'll go into this world that's supposed to look like old England or whatever, that looks like almost like something out of Bloodborne, and you're one time you'll go there and you're like on this dark sort of like London like Lovecraftian street fighting these weird like things, and the second time you go back you're actually in this this like in gigantic castle that you have to go through, and the next time you go it'll be like basically like this, like the world is the same but they have so many different settings within each of those worlds that
Mhm.
the variety of game you get is off the charts.
Huh.
Like the world generates X, Y, and Z, and the scenery or like board that loads up does like the A, B, C, and you get like combinations of the two settings.
Sort of, but it's like even more so than that. Like you're like you might go to a world that like the last time you went there was a jungle, but this time you go in there and it's like you're in a city.
Hmm.
Like the way, like think of it the way our world is, right? Like you have urban areas and you have rural areas and you have forested areas. So they took that
Sure, so they're like
sort of the
boards,
same way.
right, with a certain
Yeah.
type of gameplay, but like because it's the same planet every time, is there something that like persists throughout all those variations?
Yeah, so the style is style, and some of the enemy types are
Yeah,
similar. So like I said, so like I use the example of the Lovecraftian world. Whether you're indoors on the streets or in like these castles or whatever, like the style it's consistent,
yeah,
but it's still varied enough where you are basically always kind of like you see almost something new every time you go
yeah.
back.
That's cool.
Um, the bosses are some of the most creative bosses that have ever been in a video game. The one example that everyone has used, it's pretty much one of the popular bosses, is there's a boss where there's this like other world where the everything including the enemies there are made out of like these stone blocks, and the boss is, how do I explain this? You enter this maze, an ever-changing maze where like blocks are moving. You're navigating a maze while also fighting it. It's the best way I can explain it. It's completely fucking insane. So like you'll see like it's got like these tall walls and you'll see like openings, but you have to be careful because at some point one of the blocks from the wall will like shift and roll over. So you have to account for that while also like shooting things.
Hmm.
You're literally fighting the maze as you're navigating it. It's
That's
pretty bonkers.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the enemies aren't like, again, as much as I love like the Souls games, it's not about like just learning just learning about a pattern of an enemy. You're like, oh, okay, he jumps and then he swings and then he does a stab and then
Which one is
lightning
this
and
one
blah blah
again?
blah. This is
Remnant
Remnant
2.
Remnant 2. The bosses are very varied. They're different. And your choices in the game do make sense. Like you'll for example, you meet like early in the game, you meet like you go to a world and you meet a ruler there, a king, and he'll basically tell you like um he'll give you the option like do you want to help him and kill a person who's like a threat to his throne or and you have a choice you can either travel to a different part of this world and kill this other ruler to be, or you can just kill the first king, and that like all influences how the game will play out. And
Hmm.
you meet like these demigods and all that. You have to constantly make these sort of decisions. There's one I don't know if it's really a boss or if it's like a mini boss, but um, you go in this world and you enter this thing and there's a gigantic like dining table, something like out of like King Arthur or like Game of Thrones, like it
Yeah.
has that sort of like feel to it. And you enter this weird I can't even explain this. Like it's just such an insane scene. The boss you fight for one reason or another, you enter this weird ravenous mode where you have to fight him and his henchmen, but it's a very tough battle, and the only way you can do it is by literally running around this table and uh
Eating the food.
uh no, not that's the thing, not eating the food, but eating like other people. Like you literally run up to a person and take like a few bites out of them so you can regain some health
That's
and power.
seriously
And
creepy.
it is one of the most it's you the watching this, everyone like including like I'm watching a streamer play this and I'm watching him play it, and his mouth is on the floor and my mouth is on the floor and he's like, what
Mhm.
the fuck is happening? It's insane. Like, yeah, the boss fights are awesome. Everything about this game is great. So it's one of those things that uh again, like the first game was very good and very well received, and the developers just like the second one just blows that out of the water. They improved everything and put like a lot of thought into this game.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And I don't have any time to play it because Starfield.
Mhm.
So, but maybe Starfield will be bad, or you know what? I don't think Starfield will be bad. I already know what it is. Maybe I won't enjoy it, and I can play something else. Because I've already decided that I will never play Baldur's Gate 3. I don't have the bandwidth for it. I just don't. I know Kevin, you were thinking of picking it up, but
Yeah. I
it's
will eventually. I need like I don't know, it's like a
400 hours.
yeah, some
oh, dude,
crazy
it's
shit.
it's like a forever game. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's no way either one of us
It's
will ever finish it
I
if we
need a
start it.
change in like my mindset because I'm just not into like investing the thought space between like reading books and whatever and this role playing, the role playing game is like a whole thing and then it's like my own role playing universe is doing it, whatever. I'm like not in the mood for a video game that has that kind of like dedicated time.
Yeah, that's
So
the
I
problem.
just
That's
do
why I'm
my
not touching it.
runs and my brainless stuff, like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
goobies.
That's that's my biggest. That's why I'm so worried about Starfield. I'm like, I don't know if I have the time. Like, as much as I love Elden Ring, I've not beaten it yet, for God's sakes, and I've
Yeah.
had well, like over a year and a half to do that. Yeah, devoting time to these things is very difficult, and I know Baldur's Gate is not anything I would ever finish. I will outright say it is absolutely incredible. People are saying it's definitely a game of the year, but it's probably like
Larian
game of
knows
the
how to
decade.
do their RPGs for sure.
Yeah, nobody, and I can't even wrap my mind around how they managed to do. I don't care that they've had like 10 years to develop this game. I don't understand how they managed to do something of this scale with this much choice and forking of story. It's I don't understand. You can do literally anything in that game, like as far as characters. You
Yeah,
can kill
the
anybody,
flow
you can have
chart is
anybody turn against.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Everything
I've
is
god.
s-
voiced. It's insane.
I saw a video of someone that like picked up all these like TNT barrels and laid them throughout a
yeah.
town.
Yeah, I
And
sent
then
it to you.
like, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. That was from
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
amazing. Just the
Yeah.
fact that you could do that.
Yeah,
They do that shit on purpose. If you literally want to just be stupid and shenanigan your way through
yeah,
shit, then like enjoy the game. It's meant to be raw, but still like raw physics, let's say,
mhm,
and object interactive. But like that kind of tactic is what made Divinity series really cool.
yeah,
Just like putting a barrel on top of a trap stops it from exploding. It's like neat.
Right.
yeah. And yeah,
um,
if you like spill a flammable liquid, you can fire an
that
arrow at
was
it.
a
Well, I mean,
huge
that's
part.
simpler. Yeah,
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 yeah.
that's like simple part.
Dipping like an
This game is
arrow at
off.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, this game is on a whole nother level with all that stuff. Like you can do things that you wouldn't even.
yeah.
Yeah,
And D&D actually has rules for that stuff, which is actually kind of cool. So it's neat.
yeah. Supposedly, that's so the strength of it is that it comes so far the closest to replicating like a decent DM, which is a lot of like these games have struggled. Like the past dungeon games, um, the video game versions. I mean, not the not the real life playing ones, but they've all struggled with the fact that you just can't recreate a person leading you through this thing. It's just impossible because the kind of questions, the kind of conversations you can have are very difficult to recreate.
The
Whereas this
original,
game comes frighteningly close to it.
the
Yeah.
original Divinity actually had in the multiplayer setup, there could be a GM and players.
Oh, really?
And the
Oh, I
GM,
didn't know that.
yeah, and the GM had like God mode spawn stuff, like could spawn or force a die roll and do that stuff, but it was the Divinity system. So now if they like make, I don't know if that's built in yet or if it's coming up at some point. I can imagine them expanding and saying, "Hey, now you have a system with all this D&D 5e assets in it. Have fun." That could be fucking huge for them because it would
Yeah.
be like a roll 20 or beyond D&D replacement. It would just be, an engine, like a world engine that a GM could go in and use assets that already exist, build a map, whatever. I used to fuck around with the editor a couple times. You can The GM could write triggers so that they don't have to talk you through it and let
Yeah.
dopey players like walk forward and trip it on their own because they're running ahead of the team, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only thing is, and that this separates the biggest thing that I guess separates it from an actual D&D campaign is that you can, and people are obviously arguing about online is you can do what's called safe scumming, which
Yeah.
the quote unquote the purists see a lot of problems with. They're just like, you can't play the game like that. If you make a mistake, if you like whatever you do, you have to deal with the consequences. That's
Oh,
like the
right.
point of it. Yeah, I mean,
So play
obviously,
it
I'm not
that
a
way
camp.
and shut your trap and like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
turn
Yeah, yeah,
other
right. Let
people
people play.
don't have the time or the energy to like, you know, deal
It
with
doesn't
it,
matter. They don't. Yeah, it's their game. Let
whatever.
them enjoy it or play it however the fuck they
Yeah.
want. Like, yeah, I hate those fucking gatekeepers who are just like, oh, you're not playing it right. Um, and like the example they use like this video of whatever somebody who's like, well, if you save scumming, you walk into an area where you're all of a sudden like the conversation doesn't go the way you want, or like you're ambushed or by a bunch of trolls. You reload a previous game, you walk into the middle of this field and set up a bunch of explosives and traps in preparation for this. Well, you just ruined the game for yourself. Like, what the hell's what is even the point? So, like, I get where they're coming from, but it doesn't matter. Like,
No,
just
and
play on game.
sometimes you're just not really set up and you're like you have to totally change your tactics or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, but really like who cares? It's a strategic game anyway, turn-based stuff or whatever. So some people just like that part and they
right.
want to like,
Yeah.
do the best at a particular type of combat or situation.
Yeah, and unexpected stuff still happens. It's still a video game. There's still bugs. There's still things that like people will make a mistake and accidentally kill somebody in their party or kill a
Yeah,
character that they actually wanted to recruit into their party.
right.
It's like, well, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know that
There's
that would happen.
there's
That's
probably
that's
more
yeah.
physics in this game than most GMs are willing to like, you did the fireball, but then you didn't realize this barrel was this close to this barrel
Oh,
was this
yeah.
close to this barrel, and it blew up in your
Right.
face.
Right. There's somebody who like trekked out to get a bunch like some like really rare item that like a troll was carrying, and they accidentally kicked him or hit him so hard that he fell off the side of a cliff,
Yeah,
and the item form
Was
appeared
lost.
went with
was
him.
down there,
Yeah,
and yeah, and they're like, well, I didn't fucking want to hit him that hard, Jesus. Like, so yeah, it's anyway, yeah,
I
it's an
bonked him
incredible.
on the head.
It's yeah, absolutely incredible game. Developers are legitimately like panicking because they've already all said like, please keep your expectations in check for upcoming RPGs. It'll be a while before anybody can make anything like this ever again. So
yeah,
no one's currently working on it. So yeah, so yeah, so just Sea of Stars is not like that. Sea of Stars is much simpler. So
yeah.
that's your expectations, but you should still play it. It's a cool game. It does have, what? It has like that old. Sorry, just to go back to for a second. It has the one thing that bothers me is that it has a lot of those old, and I know it's on purpose, but it has some of those like old RPG. I don't like they're like kindness tropes where there's like a mission where you go. There's okay. There's like the sleeping dragon, right? And the thing that keeps the dragon sleeping is that there's these. It's wrapped around this mountain, and this mountain has caves on it, and the wind that is passing through these caves is playing a certain like rhythm that keeps the dragon asleep. And then there's like you get to this village and everyone's panicking because apparently there's like this evil wizard or whoever um uh who is blocking some of these caverns, and if the dragon awakes, the dragon's gonna destroy like the entire continent or something. So they're like, please go like get this wizard. So you go on like through this whole adventure, and obviously where the wizard sends henchmen after you, and you have to fight him so you don't die, and you finally get to him, and he attacks you and tries to kill you, and you fight him off, and then basically what happens is the wizard's just like, oh, I was just like misunderstood. I'm not a bad person. I was just, yeah, no one like appreciates me or whatever. I'm sad. And
No
your
one
character
likes when I raise the dead and make
totally,
undead minions.
yeah, and your characters are basically just like, oh, it's okay, buddy. Don't worry about it. Like, and like we're not gonna kill you. You just keep on trucking. Just don't misbehave again. But it's okay. We're like we're all friends now. And I'm like, oh,
Got my eye on you.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that stuff is a little cringy. I know that's a throwback to certain things, but that's just like, I'd like the option to stab him in the face. Can I have that option?
Yeah.
I'd like to. I'd
Thanks
like
for
to murder
unlocking the
him.
door. You
Yeah,
may
I'd like
prepare
to.
to die.
I'd like to murder him violently, please, if I could. So, but I like, it's cute. I play it. I let my kid sits on my lap when I play it, and she's like in love with it. So
That's cute.
in that regards,
Yes.
it's a little child friendly. There's no like real death in it. There's no like it's all like boink 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 boink.
Talking about Sea
So
of Stars, right? That's the name of it.
yes, no, I would not let her watch Baldur's Gate 3 and be like, like yes, honey, that is how you mount a bear from the back to make sweet sweet love to it. Yeah, it's okay, honey. It's a druid. It's fine. It's okay. He's just a little fuzzy. He's a little fuzzy bear. He's got little fuzzy balls. Yum, 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 yum.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, but Sea of Stars is fine. Anyway, so that's all my games. Next week, well, I guess if next week we're not here, if Kevin's on vacation, I'll have to wait a couple more weeks to report back on Starfield. And maybe by that time the Lenovo Legion Go handheld will be out, and I will be not buying it because I've been talking a lot of smack about actually buying it, but then I like money and not spending it, so maybe I probably will not be buying it. But
Yeah, I
God
still have
damn
to
it,
check that out because you have a habit of sending stuff like this is amazing, and
it is.
then like 2 seconds later you're like, but this other unit's better. Then why did you say this was amazing?
Yeah.
No, I will in a world where the Steam Deck exists, it's
In a
very hard to
world where
say.
the Steam Deck
Thank you. I was just gonna
exists.
say-
In a world, yes, in a world where the Steam Deck exists and can be bought for at this point just a little bit over $300, recommending an $800 or a $700 device that essentially does the same thing, but a little better in certain categories, it's kind of hard. And also, I kind of wish like that Legion Go thing has like removable controls, like switch like things. I still don't see the point of that. I would rather have it cost 50
One
bucks
of them
less and a
becomes a
control.
mouse
Yeah, it's
when
cool,
you
but
That was
drag it
kind
on
of
the
neat.
table.
Yeah, that was very
it
neat.
screams fucking gimmick though. I actually prefer that if I actually would be more interested in this thing if it did not do that. Because my thought is like, okay, obviously that's over engineered, so something's gonna break. There's gonna be
Yeah.
some sort of like remote disconnect. And I don't know. You're never gonna do that. And they're like, oh, it's like FPS mode. I don't play FPS games, so I don't give a shit. I am never
Yeah.
gonna put this little, well, it's not little, it's actually an 8.8-inch screen, but I'm never gonna set this thing down and then put this thing on a table and sit there and play like first person shooters with this fucking weird ass joystick. Like that's just not gonna happen. I'd rather just have one solid device. The Steam Deck makes way more sense in that regard. And as far as the previous one, Jerry, the Asus Rogue Ally is really cool. The problem is they made design mistakes and it fries SD cards
Oh
in the
wow.
process. So don't buy it, please. Like, and it's a hardware problem, so there's nothing
Yeah,
they can do to
and
fix it
you
until
can't.
the next.
Wow,
Yeah,
that sucks.
they didn't test how
It's
the heat
amazing they
dissipates
didn't
correctly.
find that in development. It's crazy.
Yeah, it means not enough testing. Yeah.
Oh, we
Anyway,
keep
so
blowing solid state drives. Maybe it's a bad batch. All right.
yeah, yeah,
And then they
basically.
go through 100
Yeah.
drives before they realize, no, it wasn't a bad batch.
Right, and that's the thing. They actually said that the Steam Deck is actually very, very smart about how it dissipates heat. It specifically it funnels heat not only in a way that it doesn't affect components, but away from where your hands are, so that your hands don't get hot while you're playing. They put a lot of thought into this thing. It is very well made.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. So, but having said that, the Legion Go is way more powerful than the Steam Deck. It has Windows, which means you can install whatever the fuck you want on it, as opposed to Steam Deck, where you're somewhat limited, or you have to
Mm.
hack your way into certain things. Um, so yeah, it's fucking cool. If anything, I'm just glad. Like the Steam Deck had a good effect on all these things that they're now way more affordable. So like before, there have been portable handhelds, and they were well over $1,000, approaching 2 grand. The Steam Deck comes out, it's like $400, and now all of a sudden these companies are the prices on these things have completely plummeted.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Steam Deck, the Legion Go would cost easily
Yeah.
2,000 or $2,500 easily,
Yeah.
if it
Fucking
ever
cell
even
phones
existed.
cost more.
Yeah, exactly. So like, um, it really forced these people to make way more affordable like handhelds, which is fucking cool. For me, the biggest selling point for the Legion Go, honestly, is the fact that it has an 8.8-inch screen. That's insane. Like I have a Switch, and I can tell you that having a 7-inch screen is really nice. And I think the Steam Deck also has a 7-inch screen. But Jesus, an 8.8-inch screen that's like I think it's like a 4K screen,
Wow,
like
that's
140
impressive.
hertz, like
That's
140
crazy.
hertz. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine how that battery is gonna be. It's got a bigger battery than the deck, but goddamn, still that screen is gonna eat through your battery. And yeah, it's adaptive and you can power it down, obviously, but still, like you can turn it into like a 30 hertz screen for certain like indie games. But if you crank that thing, which if you're spending that kind of money, you're probably gonna want to do from time to time, I'm sure the battery life is gonna be fucking tragic on it. Anyway, I'll let you know when
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I'll let-
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I still need to buy a fucking laptop. That's a whole nother conversation that we don't have time for. Anyway, do you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up? Because
No,
if
I
not,
think we're pushing late.
yeah, we can start wrapping up. Jerry, you got anything? Have you had any?
No, I'm pretty good.
You sure you didn't suddenly decide that you hate EVs in this
No,
episode? You finally come
no,
around and you want to buy something like a gas Hummer?
I'm still an EV ally.
An EV, okay. All right. Oh God. Okay. All right. Well then, as always, as we're wrapping up, you know what you got to do. Come on, where are them closing thoughts, yo? Anybody?
uh,
Way to add the hashtags. Bravo.
Yeah, Jerry's on top of that stuff, and he's been hashtagging away.
no, yes. Thank you for my hashtag praise. Praise.
And
Hashtag. So don't my final thoughts are don't be a hater. Um what was that?
no, nothing. It's,
Did you think I was gonna rhyme it with like just go
See
and
you
bait
later.
her or something?
yeah, but yeah, I was waiting.
Don't be
I
a
was,
hater. See you later.
yeah,
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 Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I was waiting for my level of humor.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it did tie it to idiocracy. Don't be a hater. Just be a baiter then.
Oh my
There you
god.
go, Kevin.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Okay, cool.
I'll see you later.
Okay, awesome. My only closing thought is if you walk into an arcade and see an RV headset, please, for love of God, don't touch it. Don't even come near it. Like, don't smell.
VR.
Like, you might be curious, like,
Yeah,
what does it
no,
feel
no,
like? What does it smell like?
it's
Just don't touch it.
I can't
Just
put the
no,
don't.
RV headset on my
no,
head.
yes. Don't
Yeah.
put the RV headset on your head because it will
No,
crush you.
all right, the VR
It
headset.
will
You know what I'm
crush
talking.
you.
It's late and I had one beer, so
Oh, no wonder
yeah,
you're not getting through that one.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, just don't touch them. They're crusty, they're smelly, they're worn by sweaty, disgusting fat children. It's just anyway. But I hope that's the thought that rocks you to sleep tonight. These oily, just you can just peel it back.
Little
Smells
like
just a little,
cherubs. Little
yeah.
cherubs.
Mm.
Smells a little bit like chili that's been left out in the sun. You know.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway.
The a hint of like rancid onion or something.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So don't do that. Anyway, that's my closing thought. Kevin, you're more than welcome to put us into away mode. So
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure as always, gentlemen.
Oh,
Ending
likewise.
soon. Yeah.
Kevin, and have a safe trip, and
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. No
try to get
AC.
some star try to get some Starfield in, well, if you can.
We'll see what happens.
This has been a production of
It's just me.
Studios.